whole course is designed, that's right, there's just planning, it's designed to take us from, you know, an entry level, knowing very little, to being comfortable, confident and competent when it comes to flying online with VATSim or, you know, Pilot Edge or IVAO or POSCON. It doesn't matter. They're all very, very similar, right? So it's kind of like a natural. It's like a natural transition. You know, we started off a couple of years ago when this sim came out and we just went flying. You know, we were having the crack. I used to get a great kick out of all our landings that were like, I still have a button over here that says landings, and that's where I played funny music, right? But now you lot are getting very, very good. It's very rare that we have mad landings because you're always very good at them. In actual fact, I need to come up. I need to find new landing challenges for you because you're getting better, right? So this is kind of like natural progression, ways to enhance your flight simulation experience, and using ATC, well, it's a massive one. Huge, absolutely massive. So we started this course a number of weeks ago. Last week we focused on revision, but don't worry if you think we're going too fast or we're moving ahead. We'll always circle back and do a bit of revision. And if anyone is ever stuck, well, we've lots and lots of options to do additional training. Some of the guys from VFR have been helping us out along the way. Adam Guido, who's been a huge support, as is Joshy today. They staffed up some Irish areas, right? Dublin Airport, Shannon Centre came online. It's been very, very helpful. And then, of course, our own community, we have some amazing people here. We've Skeptic Canton, we've Old Veteran. We have a lot of people who are experienced when it comes to ATC, be it in the sim or indeed in real life. So we have a lot of help along the way, right? And then I made a book, a document. And in the document, well, we've all things and stuff and, you know, information to help us along, right? So we're going to be progressing a little bit on tonight. And the things we want to look at, well, there's a couple of things. Number one, okay, we get to the other airport and it's VFR or it's uncontrolled. But what do we do when we get there? How do we enter the airspace? How do we enter the circuit? Is there a particular way to join said circuit? Or do we just fly in and sure, it'll be grand? We figure that one out. We also have a look at go-arounds and missed approaches. What happens if we're coming in too hot, too high, we're not going to land safely? Well, what's the procedure? Especially what's the procedure when it comes to VFR? We know you may have heard missed approach, check your charts, your missed approach. But what do you do when it comes to VFR? And for us, for me especially, the mentality has always been, if I think I'm unstable coming into an approach, I'm like, this is a challenge. I'll be grand, right? I'll make it. I'm that skilled and brilliant. I'm going to land the plane. We need to change that mentality. In the real world, if you're not in any way stable coming into your approach to land, you go around. You don't even question it. Unless you're 100% certain everything is just grand and tickety-boo, you go around. There's no question, right? Not only that, but you could get a controller who's having a bit of crack, right? He's having the crack with you. And he might say, you know, you're 20 feet off the surface of the runway. And he says, you know, go around. You need to know what to do. And of course, if you spot something on VATSim, perhaps an aircraft entering the runway that shouldn't be, or maybe an aircraft hasn't exited the runway, or maybe, you know, there's still an aircraft on the runway, well, you need to go around. You just have to go around. And then there's going to be other options. They already feature on other ATC programs. The likes of Pilot Edge, they can actually inject birds and, you know, debris and all this sort of stuff on the runway. So you have to go around. So it's pretty cool what happens. So we're going to have a look at these tonight, right? Then after that, we're going to be planning a little flight. Yes. We're going to be flying from Shannon Airport, Echo India, November. And we're going to ramble up to Birr in County Offaly, Echo India, Bravo, Romeo, for a VFR flight. We're going to be leaving a controlled airport. So we have the radios, we have this fella talking, you know. Shannon Grant, hello. And then we're going to ramble over to Birr, which is going to be uncontrolled. So we'll have a little bit of head scratching along the way. And what we did last week, which was a revision of the previous week, it was how to plan a flight, file a flight, and then we do our flight, and then we review it. So we're going to be doing pretty much the same. Like, you always do the same things in aviation, right? And as I said, a bit of revision of what we did last week, just to kind of give us an idea. So we'll start off with the charts, lads. because first and foremost, well, we want to go flying, right? Now I'm using Navigraph here. There are other charts available. You can go to the IAA website. You can pick up the AIPs for Shannon and for other areas. But I'm just going to have a quick look at Navigraph. So what I'm looking at here, this is showing you all the airspaces in and around Shannon Airport. And we're getting familiar with these. The innermost circle is usually the control zone of the tower frequency. And then as it goes out and out and out, you'll have approach and so on. What we're looking at here though, well, we want to fly from Shannon, right? And then we want to go up as far as Birr. So we'll put it in as a direct flight for the moment. So we'll put in Shannon. And then we're going to put in a destination of Birr. Echo India Bravo Romeo. So as the crow flies straight across, that's where we're going, right? Now there's a couple of things we have to look at, because they're saying, does all these circles and stuff, what do they mean? What do they mean, right? So we're going to talk about them tonight. We're going to have a look at them, because when it comes to airspaces, it can get very, very confusing. And not knowing what to do in a certain airspace, it tends to be the first reason someone kind of gives out to you on VATSim. But we'll have a look at them, right? So we know that these are class airspaces. These are airspaces, and you'll notice that it says C. C is for Charlie. It's a Charlie airspace. There are some rules required depending on your aircraft and the altitudes in which you can operate, and also the VFR conditions once you're inside this sort of airspace, right? Now, we have all the equipment we need. We're in a Cessna 172. We're grand. We don't need to worry about it for the minute. However, there is something very, very different on these charts. You'll notice it. They have this kind of a pinky, purple, magenta kind of a color. And it says something on the chart, right? So people flying in Ireland or the UK, it says MTA, Mike Tango Alpha, GND, ground, up to flight level 450. Does anyone know, or has anyone seen MTA before on a chart? Does anyone know what MTA is? Amy says, go easy on me, Murphy and Gibbo. My joints are aching after some wild camps up a couple of mountains in the Lake District the last couple of days. We'll go handy now. We'll go handy. MTA. Anyone see MTA before? And what does it mean? I mean, it's clearly marked on the chart here. And if we kind of look for other examples, well, hang on. Here's the same color, and it's giving us information. It says glider area. Ooh, MT Leinster. Okay. Max something altitude. No, good guess though. MTA. Revenge is served cold. So we can see there's other similarities. They're restrictions pretty much, aren't they? They're warnings. Well, they're not really warnings, but they're restrictions, right? Is it the same as an MOA? Very, very similar badges. Yes, Jan Race, that's the one. That's it, lads. It's a military training area, okay? And the reason why it's here, right? Well, where Casement Aerodrome is, which is just up here, Baldonnel, this entire area tends to be used for military training, because that's where the Air Corps operate when they're flying, right? Now, it's not a restriction. It doesn't say you're not allowed to enter the area, right? As in, it's not a traffic, it's not a closed off zone, right? It's restricted airspace so far as it's telling you that there's military training activity in this area, right? Now, that's still okay. We can still enter it. But as a pilot, we need to be made aware and be very aware we're going to see other aircraft operate within this area. Not just the commercial stuff. And even at that, they'd be high up. But the military aircraft, we need to be aware of it. Now, we can get some more details and have a look at MTA, Military Training Area. It's in our book here, look, and it's very similar. If we scroll up to all the different airspaces up here, now I know these are based on the US airspaces, but we can have a look, right? So you've restricted areas or prohibited areas. They're not prohibited. Flying into restricted area, right? That's what it is. So you'll see, right, well, why would they be restricted? Or why would you have a warning? Or why would you have this one here, which is very different? Military operation areas. They're areas in which military activity is frequently conducted. While there is no clearance required, pilots should verify with either ATC or the controlling agency that there is no hazardous activity being conducted. Okay, so the important notes here is there is no clearance required to enter this sort of airspace, but the pilot needs to check with either ATC or the controlling agency. Now, if we're in Ireland or we're on VATSim, how do we check that? Where might information be posted about that? Any ideas? High speed, low level aircraft. Low speed, low level aircraft. We're in Ireland. The out Irish air, do you know what I mean? The air corps, they'll be flat out, lads, flat out.
Time to pull the big switch, good buddy.
Bittersweet is in with the raid. Thank you very, very much indeed. Welcome in, Raiders. Hope you guys had a great stream. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. So, where might you get information on this?
Hello there.
Ada's online, sure. Via the IAA, sure. NOTAMs. Cold Nebo, you get it from a NOTAM. Notices to airmen. It'd be in your NOTAMs, yeah? So if you were flying in and around any airport, and if you're unsure about it, there are certain NOTAMs that would appear on VATSim as well, right? And if you have temporary traffic restrictions, just like we had when President Biden visited Ireland, that's where you keep an eye on things. So the IAA is one of the strongest ones because you're flying in Ireland, right? NATS would be another one if you're in the UK. And then sometimes the charts will update on Navigraph. But there's no danger areas. There's no controlled firing exercises. There's none of that. It's just telling you this is a military training area. Just to be aware of it. Okay. Are we happy enough? Instead of the Mac loop, we'd have to mosey along the loop. Absolutely. Jadao is here. Good to see you. Raven Wing Dragon, you're very welcome in, lad. Very welcome in. Ian Fisher is here. It's good to see you. Skylar Marty says, in the US, the woke have caused the FFA to change NOTAM to be notices to air mission. Let's not even get on that road. Don't start Murphy off. Lads, Jesus, don't start Murphy on woke and all this sort of jazz, because things will happen.
Incoming.
No. It's grand. Happy face, everything's grand. But look, you get the idea, right? So it is a military training area. So we need to be careful, right? So if we're going to fly from Shannon all the way up to Birr, well, we're flying VFR, so we're going to have to plan a bit of a route or a bit of a route. Right, a route. So to do this, we're going to make life
dreamy,
a little
sleepy,
bit easier.
nighty, snoozy, snooze.
There's all stuff happening here. The rate of knots. We're going to plan a route for ourselves. So if I'm planning a VFR route, even in the real world, if you're planning a road trip, well, you want to kind of see some things, don't you? You don't want to just go from A to B. No, let's explore here a little bit. So what we're going to do, we're going to plan a route. And we're going to base it on a couple of waypoints or visual reference points along the way. All right. So our first one is going to be the town of Scariff in County Clare. Let's have a look. Scariff. Okay, we're going to overfly Scariff. Now, again, when you're overflying urban areas, well, there's usually restrictions, minimum 500 feet, in some cases, minimum 2,000 feet, and so on. So when we overfly Scariff, we're going to overfly the north of it. So Scariff is going to be on our right-hand side. Okay. Next up, we want to overfly Mount Shannon, which is a small little village. It's like a kind of marina village. The boating people are very popular here. So it's going to be over Mount Shannon. And then after Mount Shannon, well, I want to ramble up by Portumna. Up to Portumna. And how we're going to know we're at Portumna? Well, there's a couple of features we can look at. So if we're overflying it, if I were to say to you, look out the window and how are you going to find where Portumna is? What's here on the map that's going to help you when you're in the air? Yeah. So if we're flying this direction, right, and we're going to be turning kind of right after Portumna towards Birr,
Hello there.
what are we going to be looking at? You know what I mean? Any ideas? Top of the bay, yes. There's a highway, yes. The town is north and the river entering the lake. Cold Nebo, you have it in one. There's a river and a bridge. See the way the road goes over the river? Okay, there's a bridge. So you have the town on the left, you have the lake, yeah, and you have the road, but you also have a river. There's a river now, that's the River Shannon, and then you have a bridge over the River Shannon, right? So that's the idea, all right? So the bridge is going to be what's called a VRP or visual reference point. So we kind of know, hey, there's the bridge, I now know where I'm at. After that, it's straight across country, and we're going to then approach the airfield at Birr. Echo India, Bravo, Romeo. There's a couple of things, what's around the airport in terms of any hazards or all the sort of jazz. But we just have a scan over the map. For example, these would be high points, high altitude. There's a wind farm present up here, but it'll give you the elevation to see if it's going to be a factor. And then we need to look at the charts for Birr, because there could be important information. There could be references there, right? So let's open up the charts. What do we have for Birr? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay, so Navigraph has nothing for Birr. What do we do, lads? If we can't get it for Birr, what do? We go onto the Irish Aviation website and let's look for Birr. So we put in EIBR charts. Excuse me, I'm having a look. So here's Birr. And it's the AIP, so we can get a bit of information. So, aerodrome location indicator name is Birr. We read what the crack is. So, types of traffic permitted, VFR. Oh, nice. Now, this is real world stuff, but it's still applicable to your simulator. Granted, you're not going to be making a phone call there to, Tommy or Johnny above in Birr. How are you, Tommy or Johnny? I'm hearing me sim. Is it okay to fly out? Like, forget it. But they do all the stuff here, right? So you can now look at the operational hours, right? So there's remarks here, fueling options, all that jazz. So it's telling you all the information about the airport we're going to fly into, right? For hours of operation, contact airfield admin. PIB is available from AAS Shannon. You can see this section here. Cargo handling facilities, none. Fuel and oil types, yes, they have avgas here, 100 LL and also MOGAS. Fueling facilities, they have 7,000 avgas and 1,000 MOGAS. Do they have de-icing? No. Hangar space for visiting, yes, if you contact them. Repair facilities, yeah. And anything else. Are there hotels in the vicinity? Restaurants, transportation, medical, tourist office? You get the idea. It's telling you what's there, yeah? Fire and rescue, what's available at the airport if you had to use Birr as an alternate or, an emergency landing. This is where you do your homework when you plan your flight. What's actually available at the airport or the airfield, right? Then it talks about, well, what do we have? So apron surface and strength, well, it's nil. It's grass, lads. The whole thing is grass. We're going to be landing on a grass runway. Therefore, there's no lighting and there's nothing. There's only grass, right? Then you have the weather information provided here. Nothing. However, the briefing is computer-based self-briefing facility. So you can go onto the Irish meteorological website, Met Éireann, and you'll also get personal briefing by telephone from the CAO at Shannon. That's the Central Aviation Office. All right. They don't take credit cards for your fuel in Birr, though. Only deal in livestock. I'll give you 7 goats and 3 chickens. Huh? Yeah, right. Now, here's some information. So the physical runway characteristics, what do we have? Well, yes, it is grass. And we also have the dimensions in meters. Yeah. And it's the same here. Declared distances. Approach and runway lighting, none. Okay. ATS airspace, none. Helicopter landing area, none. They land by the runway if you need to. Okay. Communications. Okay, well, Birr ground, it has its own channel frequency, but it'd be traffic. So 122.950. Okay. Traffic regulations, abatement procedures, flight procedures. And these would change from airport to airport. They would all change. Yeah. Now, if you find yourself that I don't have an awful lot of, like, what's the crack when it comes to, circuits or, hours of operation? We couldn't find it here. We got a good bit of information here, but we didn't get it all. So you'd have to contact AD admin. So you'd have to find out who they are. Literally, you get in touch with the airport. It's mad, isn't it? So if we were to go to, I think it's Ormond. It's not even Ormond. It's just Birr Airfield, isn't it? And then you can get some information about it here. And there might be information that these lads will post, right? So have a quick look at their website just to see. But what I'm saying to you is, all the flight planning that you do, this is kind of what you have to get into. And it can be fun because if you're going to pick a VFR route, I mean, that's the advantage of the VFR stuff. Well, you can find out all about it, right? This is just Ormond Flight School. We want to get information about the aircraft club membership, similarities, aircraft, hour building, pricing. Look at the prices actually in Birr. Look, 60 minutes in a Cessna, €200. I remember the day it was cheap. Ormond Flying Club has operated Birr for 30 years. Info ormondflyingclub.ie. So there's got to be somewhere else. Where can we get all the information? Ormond Flying, Birr Airfield, Flying Ireland. Okay. Airport Guide. Okay, here's something. The airportguide.com. Right, let's have a look here. What's this going to tell us? Location, grand. Time zone, grand. Airport status, public, grand. Radio, grand. Is there any FBOs there? No. So it's all about getting as much information as possible. Is there anything here with circuits or otherwise? No, there's not. Okay, grand. So we're limited. Now, the good news about all of this is, because we know we're limited, there's a fantastic website, CIX, and these guys are a VFR group, right? They're a VFR group. And I want to scroll down all the way down to the bottom page here because they have put in their own charts for Birr. This is from the CIX website. There's a link for it in the book. Anyway, we'll have a look. So it's Birr, right? It'll give you the lat long, what charts are available. The meteor report comes from Shannon. Is there any nav aids? Well, there's an NDB there. Headings, runway, Airspace transition altitude, 5,000. That's pretty much all of Ireland. Class Golf. Circuit height over the runway is 1,000 feet. Runway 36, left hand. Runway 18, right hand. Okay, so 36 is a left hand, and 18 coming this way is a right hand. So they all go the same direction, to the left of the airfield, looking straight down on it. Okay. VFR only, helicopter operations, no designated area they can use the main runway, and then no flight areas, the town of Birr below 2,000. Now, it's not to say this is going to be gospel, but you might come across certain airports or airfields that have limited information. You got to remember the rule of thumb here. When it comes to airports, unless it's stated on the chart or otherwise, they tend to be a left-hand circuit. Usually, unless they state it otherwise. We've stated it here, but I have to challenge this because I have flown out of Birr many times, and I've done left-hand circuits departing from runway 18. So I need to know where they got the information. But for our lessons and for this training, to keep it somewhat simple, this is how we're going to approach it. Yeah. So runway 38 is a left-hand circuit, and runway 18 is a right-hand circuit. Okay, that'll do. All right. 220 an hour, says Two Cuts. Jesus. Mike Sullivan is in with the raid. Welcome in, Mike Sullivan. Thank you very much indeed for the raid, dude. Hope you had a great stream. Right, okay, so that's there's enough there to kind of start us. Right, so our flight planning, we're going from Shannon to Birr, and we have an idea of what to expect. Okay, so that's our flight plan. We're going to go Shannon, we're going to go Scariff, Mount Shannon, Portumna, and then Birr. And we have enough information about it. Grand, that'll do. So the weather, well, we're basing this on a departure from runway 06. Okay, and because we're VFR, we don't fly SIDS. We don't get like an instrument departure, right? We don't even get vectors. We fly out and that's it, right? So usually the controller will tell you what to do, where to head, and they would tend to call it what's called, they'd say track. You're clear to track, northeast or northwest or whatever. We'll go through all this now in a moment, all right? If, for example, you were going to be taking off, we say runway 24, well, how would one leave the airport under normal VFR conditions? And we've done this over the last couple of days. How do we leave the airport? What about Jeppson's balloon? Say nothing, that'll just appear. So if we were in VFR conditions and we wanted to depart, rather than saying straight out, we tend not to do that in Ireland. If we were to depart, if we were taking off from runway 24, yeah? Remember your circuits? At what stage do we depart? Do we leave the circuit? That's what you need to focus on. The answers are in the book. So if we were to look at the circuit, which we've done this a few times as well, yeah? So whatever runway we depart from, be it left or right hand, yeah? You remember the legs. So you have your crosswind, downwind, base, final. You have your upwind or departure leg. It's the same thing. Your upwind or departure leg, they're both the same thing, okay? So the idea is, well, we go back to our circuit, because once we fly in the circuit, we can then depart the circuit. That makes sense? Doesn't matter where you depart from. You can depart on the upwind. You can depart on a crosswind. It doesn't matter. You can depart on the downwind. If you had to, you could depart even on the base leg to go straight across and then head to the south. You can do all of these things. That's why circuits are so important, and keep practicing circuits. Once you know every part of the circuit, all the legs of the circuit, you apply that to every single airfield, all of them, with some little differences, but we'll go through them now in a moment, right? So if we wanted to leave Shannon, well, we're pretty much heading straight out. We're departing runway heading. That's where we're headed. So we're going to be departing runway 06. We're flying already to the northeast. So we're hoping that the tower will say, you're cleared to track northeast. He's not going to give us a heading because we're not instrument pilots. We're visual pilots. So we're going to track to the northeast. And then we have our visual reference points that we identify with. He'll give you an altitude, don't worry, because you have airspace. So you will get some sort of an altitude restriction. But we're just going to ramble up our merry way. We're going to leave Shannon's airspace, and then it's into Birr. As we're approaching Birr, and this is where it gets interesting, here's another runway. And our plan, based on the weather, it's going to be an arrival for runway 36. Okay. How do we figure out this one? What are we going to do here? Well, our lesson tonight is called the overhead join, or the standard overhead join. So if we go back to our book and we have a look here, We could arrive on the base leg, but that's kind of dangerous because we have to fly, to the south, then we have to fly more to the east. No, we'll just fly straight in, and we're going to do something that's called the standard overhead join. And there's rules we need to follow as pilots. Well, how do we do a standard overhead join? And, well, how are we going to understand it? We're going to go through all that tonight. We're going to practice it tonight. And then once we've done it once, we're happy out. All right? Now, some other airports, that's why it's important to check the chart. This one, for example, which is Lenoble over in France somewhere, yeah? You'll notice on this one that they have these letters published. And it's the very same as Geneva, where Skeptic Canton controls. There are letters published on the chart telling you have to go here first. Forget about your normal traffic patterns and all this jazz. No. Here you go to this point first. We'll learn a little bit about them. All right. So, joining an aerodrome circuit. Just like joining a circuit, we plan our arrival at the airport. There are some things we need to consider about the circuit. If the airport is controlled, we must request a clearance to enter the zone. This is done by contacting the controller. And from there, the controller will issue us with instructions. They might, but usually not. They won't give you a vector. They'll usually give you a joining instruction to join the circuit, depending on our location. So they might say, join downwind, or they might say, report at Sierra for a downwind join. It depends on the airport. If the airport is uncontrolled, we do have a few options ourselves on how to join it. First and foremost, we need to check the airport charts. Some airports have procedures that all traffic must report from a certain reporting zone or even a visual reference point. In the below example, all traffic must report to point Sierra, then join the base leg for the runway in use. And if you have a look on the little booklet here, there's Sierra. So it doesn't matter where you're flying in from. You go to Sierra, and then depending on what runway is active, that's where you join the base leg. Does that make sense? And then you can enter the circuit from in there. Okay? Right. Any questions so far? No. Good. So remember that if we are operating at an uncontrolled airport, we must advise other traffic what our intentions are. We did this last week. They were pilot reports, or we'd have to say, Connemara traffic, Cessna 172, downwind, runway 05, full stop, Connemara traffic. You start and finish with the facility name. You start with the facility name, you end your sentence with that facility name. And the reason being is, well, if someone tunes into you mid-sentence, if they don't know where you're talking about, it leads to confusion. So if they tune in and it's like, to downwind, runway 05, Connemara traffic. Okay, there's someone doing something at Connemara. That's important to me, so I'm going to shout back and say, hey, last aircraft calling, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Anyway, let's have a look here. So, depending on our position, distance, and direction to the airport, we can review the following methods and check to see which one is most applicable to us. And I've put them all here in the book for us, all right? So just like a previous lesson, as we were heading west from Furbo towards Echo India Charlie Alpha, based on the wind direction, runway 05 was active. Runway 05 at Connemara is a right-hand circuit. So this allowed us to join the circuit on the downwind leg from 45 degrees. So if you go back up to last week, this is how we joined Connemara. See that? You guys remember that? So we flew in to join the downwind on a right-hand circuit for runway 05. That's how we did it last week. This week, it's going to be a little bit different. All right? So we scroll down to where it was. Murphy, where were you, Murphy? You were here. So it is vital that the airport charts are reviewed during the planning stages of our flight. This will allow us to plan our arrival and prepare what type of join will be applicable to us at an uncontrolled airport. Basically, the rule of thumb, just read the airport charts, read the NOTAMs, just have a read about it. And if you're unsure and you want to go flying with someone else, listen to what they're doing. It'll help. All right. So we have the standard methods of joining a circuit: straight in, left or right base, crosswind, downwind. The one we're going to do tonight, there's information here what to do. Again, this is taken from 6CIX, and there's information why you would, why you wouldn't do it. Yeah. The one we're doing tonight is the overhead join, the conventional method of an aircraft to approach and safely land at most airfields. It helps a pilot integrate with other traffic join the circuit and land. It may not be appropriate at some airfields, such as those conducting winch launch glider activity. Makes sense. The purpose of the standard overhead join is to create an orderly flow of traffic into the circuit. Okay, so what do we do? What is an overhead join? This is an overhead join, yeah? So, this is our little airplane here. And there's some rules. The airport is based on a left-hand 1,000-foot circuit altitude. That's what the airport is based on, okay? So, maintain 1,000 feet above the circuit height. Okay, so we need to be 1,000 feet above the circuit. And you can see roughly what's going to happen. We're going to fly directly over the active runway, yeah, down towards the base. As we fly over it, we start our descent. We're going to descend down to the circuit altitude. And it's known over in Europe, we call the live side, as in if it's a left-hand circuit, the left side of the airfield is the live side. The right-hand side of the circuit is the dead side. If it was a right-hand traffic circuit, well then the right hand is live and the left hand is dead. Make sense? So we descend on the side of the airport that isn't active in the circuit. In this case, it's called the dead side. Because there's nothing else flying over there, it is safe for you to descend. When you descend to the circuit altitude, you then turn on the crosswind leg. Now, there's important points along the way, and it makes it easier because it's a left hand. Why? As a pilot, you're sat in the left seat. You're looking out your window. And you can see where the runway is, meaning you will see aircraft coming up if they're on a departure. So you can avoid them. And they're flying ahead. They're glancing over to the right. They can avoid you. That's the point. Okay? And don't worry. We're going to do all of this multiple times tonight. So don't worry. Just be aware. There's not a test. I'm not going to ask you questions. What was the 7th circumference of the moose's head? We're not going to go into that. Just to be aware of that. We're going to practice and practice and practice. So just bear with me, right? We descend on the dead side. We then enter a normal circuit. We're now on the crosswind. Then we turn 90 degrees onto the downwind, 90 degrees onto the base leg, and then 90 degrees onto final. Does that make sense? So if you were to look at the circuit, which is this fella here, yeah, here's the active runway, right? Active runway. We're going to join coming in this way here. Look, that's where we're coming in. You guys see that? We're coming in this way. We descend on the dead side of the airport. We fly back around and then we enter the downwind. So we'll go across wind leg, downwind, and then we're in. It's the overhead join. It makes sense now that you look at it and say, well, that's fairly straightforward. Yeah, of course it is. But unless you do it, unless you spend time learning it, a lot of this stuff is like, holy crap, wow, how do you, So anyway, that's what we're going to do, right? The overhead join blew the mind of my Canadian ATC mentor. Who about this? Indigenous Navi says, my man, I'm new to FlightSim. I watched your videos for Microsoft FlightSim on Xbox, and what an absolute hero you are. Would you go way out of that? I have hit brick walls trying to get help, where to start and how to start and get going. Your videos on your channel are a godsend, so thank you all. You absolute ledge. Thank you very, very much indeed. Now, where's this? Yeah. Worf, can you click export and navigraph? Maybe others can fly the waypoints too. Pretty please. Oh yeah, export and navigraph. Gibbo, yeah, great idea. We'll do that now for our flight lads. If anyone else has navigraph. The traffic circuit. Of all the things you learn or you're going to learn when it comes to you flying, don't worry about the talking part. We've got you covered there. When it comes to the flying, this is what you need to practice. And it's easy to practice. You don't need to be online to do it. Practice flying a circuit. Or if you're in the US, it's called a traffic pattern. This is the stuff you need to do. By default, a happy, what's the word I'm looking for? A happy kind of takeaway from flying circuits is you're getting very, very good practice at the practical flying. You're going to be learning takeoff, heading, altitude, aiming off for wind, yeah, and also landing. They're some of the biggest skills you need as a pilot. Forget in real life, you need them in the sim as well. So the more circuits you do, you're absolutely enhancing and you're getting better. You're polishing off your skills. You're getting better. So this is what you need to do. All right. So where were we? We're up here. This is our focus, the overhead join. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do at Birr. Okay. So when we look at our chart back here, we now look at our airport. And if you notice, well, sure, I didn't write anything down. So as we look at the airfield, okay, runway 36, that's where we want to land, yeah? So if we want to land on runway 36, well, we can kind of draw this imaginary line in our head. Pity there's no pen marker. Gibbo had a thing that had a pen marker. I didn't install it. I will though. Anyway, we're going to fly in this way, very close to the base of 36. We need to be 1,000 feet above the circuit altitude. Circuit altitude is 1,000 feet. We need to be 1,000 feet above that. We're going to be flying at 2,000 feet. As soon as we pass over the runway, we're going to start descending. And on this side of the runway, because the traffic or the circuit pattern is all on this side, this is known as the dead side. That's where it is we're going to be flying. Okay, so we overfly the airport onto the dead side and we start descending. And we turn 90 degrees left. And once we hit our 1,000 feet, we turn 90 degrees to the left. We're now on the crosswind. Then we turn 90 degrees left again. We're on the downwind, familiar territory. Then we turn base. Then we turn final. All right, fairly straightforward. So if I can export this, if you're stuck, I can export this. Gibbo said export it. Copy to clipboard, or do I do it as a flight plan, Gibbo? I suppose just copy, and we'll put it over here. And where will I put it? Where do I throw that? Flying 250 knots and less than 100 miles in a jet, barely proficient. Britain DC, good to see you, man. I find little nav map a fantastic resource for doing pattern entry. Yes, it is, Ori, it is. Little nav map is brilliant. Speaking of which, Iceman sent me a message earlier on. There is a VFR map done to Birr, but I couldn't open it because I don't have little nav map installed, right? So I'm going to put this into the flight plan area. Flight plans. So if I just add it in there, look. Right, so if you go to our Discord, there's a notification now that is going to be this flight plan. Is that fair enough? So you'll see it there over in Discord, all right? Are we going to the VATSim Expo? Yes, Britain DC. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Okay. So what we're going to do, that's our plan. We have an idea. We know what to do at the airport. That's all okay for now. So we'll eat that over there. We happy enough with the overhead join? Okay, let's see what happens when we do it. Some additional information relating to the circuit. When do you have to report your position? When do we have to actually get on the radio and say, hey, this is where I am? Well, position reporting should be done ideally at the following stages. Just before being overhead, when you're overhead, joining a downwind, joining the base, joining final, and when the runway is vacated. So these are the times you have to talk to other traffic to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Don't worry about it too much. You'll hear me doing it and we'll be grand. Always check with the airport charts to find out where to look and when you are abeam. Example, the runway position, windsock position, lighting, signal area, and so on. Our simulators may have some limited ground objects at airports, so it's always recommended to check the scenery beforehand. You have all these thingies, right? Icons that are going to appear on some of the charts, and they're telling you what kind of equipment is on the ground and also what circuit you can do, where you can land, helicopter areas, keep your aircraft in this zone, takeoff and landing directions are not the same, pilots take off and land towards the crossbar. There's all these things to be aware of. I've put a little key here so you're aware of them, right? Again, we'll keep an eye on that stuff. Don't worry about it for now, it's grand, but it's there, all right? Have a look at the below links for the AIP for Shannon and Weston, amongst other information. I've already showed you the one for Birr. They're just the AIP charts and they'll give you information about it. All right? Okay. Again, we're showing off the traffic pattern. Learn the parts here. This one is different. An example of an aerodrome traffic circuit for Echo Bravo Kilo Tango defined in the AIP. There are 3 circuits because they're defined for different aircraft types. You might have a question, Murph, I'm flying in a Cessna 172. I'm going to hit 80 knots, right? But there's also a friggin' F-16 VFR. Huh? Really? Who knows? How do you manage it? Well, some airports have actually said high-performance aircraft, light aircraft, and helicopters. They might give them different altitudes. They might give them different extended downwinds, extended this, extended that, all that sort of jazz. You know what I mean? Britain DC, look at that. Thank you very, very much indeed. 3 months, man. Cheers. Very kind of you. Where's Mr. Murphbach gone? This stupid thing. What's this now? Export. Oh, yeah. Is that Murph? Shower. The mods are already on my case. Why is that stupid thing not working? Hang on, we fix this. Alert box widget. Yeah, you're going for a one-way ticket, son. Right, let's see what happens here. So just to be aware, again, check your charts. There could be different circuits, and again, this is where Geneva is interesting, where Skep is controlling, because there are different ways to follow along with a circuit. All right, okay. Next up is the go around and a missed approach. What do we mean by that? Well, a go around or a missed approach, basically they're referring to an aborted landing. Now, go arounds tend to be more associated with VFR, and a missed approach tends to be associated with an IFR, but they both technically mean the same thing. In essence, it's an aborted landing. And it's a missed approach or a go around is a safe and well-practiced maneuver that sees an aircraft discontinue its approach to the runway when landing. We tend to associate these, go around with VFR, missed approach with IFR. However, even if you're in an IFR environment, a controller may still instruct an aircraft to go around. So although there are differences, we can accept that either stating go around or missed approach, we are referring to some sort of aborted landing. There are some differences between VFR and IFR. Usually, a go-around from an instrument approach should follow the specified missed approach procedure, which will be published on the airport chart, unless otherwise instructed by ATC. So in every chart you look at for that runway, it'll show you clearly the missed approach. Climb runway heading, turn this, turn that. It's on the chart, right? When we do our IFR stuff, we'll focus on them there. As flight simmers, we do not share the same limitations and dangers as real-world pilots when we're landing, especially for newer pilots. We tend to try and make the softest or smoothest landings possible. A butter landing. We always want a butter landing. However, this can usually result in long landings or even causing the aircraft to run out of the runway. Sure, it's grand. A real challenge for us, all of us, we need to change this mentality, especially when it comes to learning your ATC. When, for any reason, you notice that an approach cannot be continued to a successful landing, a missed approach or go-around should be flown. All right? Someone just want to get on the runway. Reasons for a go-around, without me reading them. Anyone in the chat there, what would be a reason for a go-around? Why suddenly you're about to land and next thing, either you're going around or you're told to go around? Why might you be told go around? Any ideas? To stay alive, well, that's basic. The milkman is on the runway. Thanks, Matty, yeah. Aircraft on the runway, yes. Anything, yeah. Wind shear, you could be too high. Birds or other animals, yes. Too much speed, a deer, yeah, you get the idea. You've made a gibbo approach. Yeah, just like you did earlier, Murph. A go around or 4,500 feet per minute dive. Yeah, right. You get the idea. Reasons for the required visual references have not been established by the decision height. Now, decision height is something we'll get into a little bit later on, but you have decision altitudes. That's what they mean. You have to make a decision, go, no go, at a certain altitude. That's why you might hear minimums or decision height or whatever, continue or go around. You'll hear it later on when we're doing the IFR stuff. The approach or landing is or has become unstable. The aircraft is not positioned to allow for a controlled touchdown within the designated runway touchdown zone. That's the biggest one for us. You have a touchdown zone. The goal is not just hit the runway in places. You have a zone in which you have to get the airplane down. If you miss that zone, abort the landing. That's it. Go around. We'll practice on that. The runway is obstructed, other traffic, debris, birds, whatever. Landing clearance has not yet been received. Ooh, that's a thing. Let's say you're on approach. You haven't been cleared because you can't get through to the ATC. You just cannot get them. What do? You go around. All right. A go around is being flown for training purposes, as we were doing. A go around or touch and goes, yeah. or ATC issue you with go around. The term go around is defined by the following: instructions for a pilot to abandon his or her approach, and additional instructions may follow. Unless otherwise advised by ATC, VFR or an aircraft conducting a visual approach should overfly the runway when climbing to the circuit pattern altitude and enter the circuit pattern via the crosswind. Does that make sense? You go straight into a circuit. If you're VFR, and unless you were told otherwise, what do you do for your missed approach? Get into the circuit. Okay, that's fairly straightforward, isn't it? So, like, do you go around and fly to Leitrim? No, you don't need to. You stay in the circuit. You just enter the circuit. The circuit is a holding pattern around the airport, so you know what I mean? Right, for the moment, we're going to focus on the VFR procedures. A controlled airport. If we're at a controlled airport, when we report a go around, the controller will usually issue you with a heading or an altitude, a vector, or he'll get you back for another approach. Now, they'll more than likely say, enter the circuit on the crosswind and report downwind. That's usually what happens, right? Usually what happens. King Cobra, welcome in, Raiders. Many thanks for the raid, dude. Happy Monday. So if you're VFR at a controlled airport, go around, the controller will just say, you know, left turn on the crosswind, report downwind. Usually, right? Uncontrolled. At an uncontrolled airport, once we report a go around, fly the runway heading, climb to circuit altitude, and then we enter the circuit via the crosswind. It's the very same. The most important thing to remember, always check the airport chart first. Even if you're in VFR, there might be published information relating to missed approaches or go-arounds, right? These could include an instruction to fly to a reporting point, alternative altitude, and so on. Make sure we're aware of the missed approach procedure and we have the charts prepared. We never know when you might need them or when we're told to go around. We just don't know. The go around from an instrument approach should be followed by the specified missed approach procedure unless otherwise instructed by ATC. Remember, you can always go around. That's enough hammering that point. We get the idea. Yeah. So the last bit here, the right of way, right? The right of way. It's great crack at roundabouts over here. People don't know who has the right of way. The suggested rules for giving way to other aircraft are as follow. Oh, look, I made a mistake. Aircraft taking off and landing have the right of way over all other traffic. Just to be super aware of that. Aircraft taking off and landing have right of way of all other traffic. Unless, of course, they're landing behind another aircraft, but then they have to get out of there again. Make sense? Aircraft landing have right of way over aircraft taking off. Ooh. Makes sense. They're holding short. There's all stuff happening. King Cobra, thanks again. Jeez, 2 raids. If you're holding short a runway, you have to give way to the aircraft on final. Okay? Aircraft established in the circuit have right of way over aircraft joining the circuit. So if you're flying along and you're in the circuit and you see another dude trying to join in, you have the right of way, not the dude joining in. It's right of way, yeah? The good aviation practice considerations of avoiding overtaking or cutting in and the application of the right of way rules while taxiing. Aviation practice, etiquette we're talking about here. Avoid overtaking or cutting in, and also when it comes to taxiing. The right of way, all right? Are we happy enough? Right, grand, brilliant. Now it's time to relax because we're an hour in and it's about time we start a bit of flying. So, VFR flight number 2. This is lesson number 4. For our second VFR flight, our plan is to depart a controlled airport, fly to and land at an uncontrolled airport. For this lesson, we will be departing Shannon and our arrival will be at Birr. There will be ATC coverage for the departure of the flight at Shannon, but once we leave the zone, all communication will continue over on the Unicom frequency of 122.8. Just as before, this lesson is broken down into 4 parts, with each part having some additional sections. Okay. Planning our flight, we've used Navigraph. Filing our flight plan, we're going to do that now in a moment. We'll have the flight itself, and then we review. Okay, so now that we're here, we're going to file our flight plan. So where's me VATSim? And we're going to go to, where's the gadget here? Flight planning. File flight plan. Now we have a couple of ways to do this. Yeah? You can start from absolute scratch If you wanted to, you can start from absolute scratch, right? Which is handy. Just go on to VATSim and you can do it. The tip of the day is go into SimBrief. Watch this now. If we go into SimBrief, we're going to go to dispatch system, and we're going to go to new flight, and we're going to put in flight number Echo India Tango Tango Mike, departing from EINN Shannon, going to Birr Echo India Bravo Romeo, and it's going to be in a Cessna 172. So we need to find the Cessna 172. Cessna 1, where are you? Cessna. Don't tell me there's not a Cessna 172 on this. C172. Am I gone blind? I could be. There it is. Cessna 172. Unknown destination EIBR. Fiddlesticks. Right. Okay. It's not going to do it. Because it's IFR. Okay. Okay. What's the nearest one? Let's do, let's EIBR. Let's just do Dublin. Just bear with me now for a moment, right? The reason why we're doing this, because I need to get the aircraft SECAL and equipment suffixes and all that jazz, right? So just bear with me. So we're going to generate this flight, okay? And now we're going to change it. Keen Lafford is here. Good to see you, Keen. Welcome in, welcome in. Okay, so I'm now going to pre-file on a network. It's down the bottom here. And we're going to go VATSim, pre-file. And this will open up the VATSim flight. Here is where we edit it because it's already populated everything we need. Now we just go in and edit it. That's why it's easier to do it this way. So we're going to change our flight rules to VFR. Aircraft type is grand. Transponder, grand. Departure, EINN, correct. Arrival, EIBR. Now we're putting it in. We're VFR. We don't need an alternate. We don't need to put in the alternate airport. Time en route, it's about 45 minutes. So we'll put in 45. Endurance of our aircraft is about 4 hours. We'll put in 0400. Airspeed 110. We'll bring it back to about 105. Our routing details. This is where it changes. We're not flying to waypoints. We're not instrument flight rules. Our routing details, well, we already know what they are. If we're unsure, well, let's check the little book. Because our flight plan is going to take us to the following areas. 1, 2, 3. We overfly the town of Scariff, the village of Mount Shannon, and finally the town of Portumna. You guys see that in the book? 1, 2, 3. And then it's over to Birr. Sound. So let us open up a flight plan and we're going to put in Scariff. Yeah. Then we're going to put in Mount Shannon. And then Portumna. Routing details. Scariff, Mount Shannon, Portumna. The local controllers will know where you are. They know what the crack is. They know the area, right? Everything else we don't need to change. The red of the aircraft we can change because it's Echo India Tango Tango Mike. Cell call, don't need any of that. Don't need any of that. Remarks, don't need any of that. File the flight plan. Okay, so we can't have commas. Okay, right. File the flight plan. En route time must be entered as 4 characters. En route time 0045. How's that? File the plan. Flight plan has been filed. Enjoy your flight. Okay, super. So that's our flight plan filed on VATSim. So always go into SimBrief. If I can't find the airport you're looking for, pick something very close by. The reason why I do that, it auto-populates all the other aircraft details. All the stuff. You don't need to do it line by line by line, yeah? Altitude en route is going to be 3,000 feet. Actually, I should have changed that because we don't actually know. Well, we want to fly at 3,000 feet. Let's see what ATC give us, yeah? Okay. Seems fair enough. Seems happy enough. So what we can do, we can read down through the entire thing. So we've planned our flight, we filed it, and now we have the flight. Okay. So the following is for training purposes only. Bearing in mind that with the lack of radar, we're not using VATSim, we're using Discord. So there's going to be a little few differences here. So don't worry about it. But by and large, follow this. It'll work, right? So the first thing we do, we obtain the ATIS. What is the weather? If we can't get access to an ATIS, we get the weather. What is the weather actually doing? Okay. There will be an ATIS because, well, we're pretending there's an ATIS, right? We then have to contact Shannon. So we're going to tune to Shannon ground. We're going to tell them who and what we are. So this is where the differences start happening. So I want you to have a listen to this, right? I'm going to talk you through it and then we're going to do it. Are we ready? Okay. So let's say, for example, we have information Bravo. Okay. So we're going to contact Shannon ground, Echo India Tango Tango Mike.
Echo
Echo India Tango Tango Mike, Shannon Ground, pass your message. Echo India Tango Tango Mike, Cessna 172, General Aviation Parking, with information Bravo. Request VFR departure to Birr via Portumna and engine start. That's a new one, isn't it? Echo India Tango Tango Mike, you are approved VFR to Birr via Portumna and engine start. Squawk 2601, active runway 06, QNH 1011, offer taxi. Approved VFR to Birr and engine start. Squawk 2601, active runway 06, QNH 1011, Echo India Tango Tango Mike. Right. So you'll notice now, because we're not asking them for, circuits or whatever, we're saying request VFR departure to Birr via Portumna. So they can see our flight plan. When we file the flight plan, the controller can see it. Okay, he's heading up this way. All right, we know what the crack is. In Shannon, they'll give you a squawk code for this because you're in their airspace. And they tend to give you 26 and then 2 numbers departing out of Shannon. This sort of crack, all right? It'll be grand. We don't need to worry about the whys. This is just the do's and you get used to it. So we then start up our engine. We start our aircraft. We're ready to rock. We're then ready to call for a taxi. So we ask them, Echo India Tango Tango Mike is at General Aviation Parking, ready to taxi. Echo India Tango Tango Mike, taxi via the apron and Alpha, hold short, runway 06. Taxi via the apron and Alpha, hold short, runway 06. Echo India Tango Tango Mike. Okay, now we taxi. And we taxi all the way along up to the hold short point at 06, and now we call them up again. Echo India Tango Tango Mike, holding short, runway 06 at Alpha. Echo India Tango Tango Mike, contact tower 118.7. Contact tower 118.7, Echo India Tango Tango Mike. Okay, now we're holding short of the runway, everything else is flying it. Now it's time to depart, so we tune into Shannon Tower, 118.7. Shannon Tower, Echo India Tango Tango Mike, holding short, runway 06 at Alpha, ready to copy. Echo India Tango Tango Mike, hold position. After departure, runway 06, cleared on track to the northwest, not above altitude 3,000 feet VFR, QNH 1011. Hold position after departure, runway 06, cleared on track to the northeast, not above altitude 3,000 feet VFR, QNH 1011, Echo India Tango Tango Mike. Echo India Tango Tango Mike, correct, surface wind 0506 knots, runway 06, clear takeoff, report when airborne. Clear for takeoff, runway 06, Echo India Tango Tango Mike, and report when airborne. That's a new one, report when airborne. Well, after we take off, we need to report that we're airborne. Then we climb up to 2,500 feet. So, as soon as you're airborne, as soon as you're in the air and you're maintaining flight, Echo India Tango Tango Mike is airborne. A couple of things might happen here. For this lesson, don't worry about all the other things that might happen. This is what we're doing tonight. But if Shannon was on and, Shannon's Centre was on, now you get into flight, you get into the territories of flight information services. In the US, it's like flight following. Over here, it's like, basic service, radar, all of that jazz. So we're not going to worry about that tonight. That's more from when we get on to VATSim. But just be aware, we're basing this on as soon as we're airborne, we're leaving the tower's frequency. And I've put that in the highlighted green up here. Look, see the highlighted green? Once we leave this area, the tower can't see us anymore in his scope, so he's going to hand us over to Unicom with you. Good luck. That makes sense? So when we report airborne, tower will come on and say, Echo India Tango Tango Mike, no further ATC available. Squawk VFR, monitor Unicom 122.8. Squawk VFR, monitor Unicom 122.8 for Echo India Tango Tango Mike. We're now finished with the controller. Now we monitor Unicom and we just obey the rules of the sky. That's it. All right? And you'll get that quite a lot. You will get that quite a lot. All right? Hey, Patrick is here. Good to see you. Kozaki, good to see you. Chasing paperwork, so not flying. Oh, no way, man. But you get the idea. A lot of the times when you leave an airport on VATSim, once you pass them, unless there's more ATC, for example, if you were to look at VATSim, or if you were to look at Volanta right now, this is giving us a picture of live ATC up here. Look. So let's say, for example, we took off out of Liverpool and we want to head to Waterford. Well, as soon as we leave Liverpool airspace, they're going to hand us over to Unicom because there's no other controller active there. that make sense? So we'll have to go on to Unicom. Or there's nothing worse. You've just gone online and all of a sudden you get your takeoff clearance and then they close down the whole airport. That happened today. But in fairness to Adam Guido, he then jumped on and saved the day like a true legend, which is brilliant, right? So we get the idea. So we're now following our VFR flight plan. We're on Unicom. We've done this already. Now we're just going to focus on our visual reference points and what we're going to do when we're at these visual reference points. Fair enough. We are intending to carry out an overhead join at Birr with a full stop landing. So we need to tell them that. So we're now following the plan. We'll be passing Scariff, Mount Shannon, and then over Portumna. Lochderg will remain on the starboard side on the right. And once we arrive at Portumna, we make a position report alerting aircraft in the area of our intentions. Portumna tends to be busy. Why? There's a bridge and there's nice things to see. There's a castle and all up there. So that's 12 nautical miles away from Birr. So this is what we're going to say when we're at Portumna. Birr traffic, Echo India Tango Tango Mike, Cessna 172, 12 miles to the west at Portumna, 2,500 feet inbound for an overhead join. Birr traffic. Now we were told to be at 3,000 feet, so we're going to descend a little at Portumna because our restriction was not above 3,000 feet. Do you remember? Not above 3,000 feet. We're going to be down at 2,500 feet because we want to look at what's going on. Then our arrival, as we near our destination, we give another call when we're about 5 miles to the east. Again, Birr traffic, Echo India Tango Tango Mike is a Cessna 172, 5 miles to the east, 2,500, descending to 2,000, inbound for an overhead join. The reason why we want to get down to 2,000, because that's going to be 1,000 feet over the circuit. And this is our map. We are on the red line. The circuit is the green line. Does that make sense to you? So as we approach the airport at 2,000 feet, we passed over the active runway and descend on the dead side down to 1,000 feet, which is the circuit altitude. We then turn and cross back over on the crosswind. Then we turn left again on the downwind, and at all times we're scanning for other aircraft as we look out the window and we monitor Unicom. Remember that we need to update our position at each stage of the circuit. You can reduce the sound, or you can reduce some of the following in order to streamline it. So you can replace the words. Birr traffic, you have a Cessna 172. You don't necessarily have to give your call sign. It helps, but you can just say Birr traffic, Cessna 172, on the overhead join, runway 36, Birr traffic. It's enough. The call sign is not actually that important. It's handy on the first call because other people in the area might get used to you. Yeah. It's the Christmas pattern. Yeah. So you're going to call that you're on the overhead. You're going to call that you're descending. You're going to call on the downwind, the base, and the final. These are all the calls you're going to make. If you miss one, don't worry. Make sure you get the next one. All right. Then once we get landed, we vacate the runway and then we review the flight. Okay. On the very, very bottom, this is the chart, or it's the only chart I could find, and it's from the CIX website, and it's that for Birr traffic. I have real ones here somewhere, but I couldn't find them. So that's what we're going to do. Does it make sense, lads? Does it make sense? It's not a huge lesson. All we're going to do is fly from Shannon to Birr. We're under ATC until we get airborne. Then we're over to Unicom. We're going to fly Scariff, Mount Shannon, Portumna, and then we're making our way to Birr. The crack we're going to have in Birr is doing this overhead join. This thing. This is where the crack is going to be, right? So have a look at the manual. This document, by the way, this is available. It's for free. Anyone who wants it, go over to our Discord. You can grab it in there. This is the standard overhead join. Just have a look at it. That's what we're going to do. All right, fair enough. Does it sound like a plan? Right, okay. So we're going to get ourselves situated and we're going to do our lesson. Remember what we've also learned tonight are go-arounds. If you need to go around, go around. Okay? Okay. So here we are. Yes. In our little airplane and all is looking well. So, I don't believe we have ATC on VATSim, do we? I don't think so, lads. So what I'm going to do, I am going to turn on multiplayer. And we have all our ATC channels over on Discord, right? Over on Discord. So if you want to join in, go ahead and jump into the ATC lounge. on Discord, and that'll give us an idea of how many pilots there are going to be. And if we have the chance, if someone wants to look after ground, I can look after tower. So the ground is going to be the same crack again. It's going to be taxiing across the apron onto Alpha. If anyone wants to do that. But we should be ground without. Yeah, we should be ground without. So, I'll go ground somewhere if you want. I'll go on ground somewhere. It's Danny. Yeah, by all means, just jump on into the ground frequency there if you want. So remember, you have your script. You have your script. Follow the script. You can't go too wrong. Yeah? And let's see what happens. Okay. So the information that we have is information Bravo. Just to be aware of that. But information Bravo means, winds 0604 knots. Okay. Even got helicopters with us tonight. Nice. Now I'm going to turn off nameplates because I don't want to be looking at who's flying with me. I just need to know there's someone flying with me. Because I'm going to see, can I identify them just by talking to them. Yeah? So we'll see how we go. So, let me see. ATC Lounge. So there's me. Old Veteran is there. Iceman is in there. Yeah, Gibbo, if you can, great. If you can't, don't worry, man. If Gibbo, if you want to jump onto ground, more than welcome, dude. I'll jump onto tower. And we just want to get people departed and out. And I'm using that, whatchamacallit, Gibbo, I'm using that document if you want to jump on. Let's have a look, let's have a look, let's have a look. I'm a great lad for planning things. I didn't plan this at all. Stream alert. Dish, dish. There you go, my dude. There you go, my dude. And let's have a look down here. Okay, ATC Lounge. So I'm going to jump in tower, all right? And we're going to get ground up and running here now shortly. What I recommend, lads, try and jump on anyway. Don't worry about doing the flight or, if this is moving too far ahead. That's grand, but get in and do a little bit. And it's only us. You can't go wrong. I mean, I mess up all the time. All the time. I did it today, sure. Loads of times. You know what I mean? So don't be afraid of it. Give it a bash and see what happens. Because it's good old crack, It's good old crack. Now, where is this Streamlabs? So Streamlabs, you pay money for like a custom bot and then the bot doesn't work. We must get into like Murphy irate zone. Hey, Epic Fool is here. Asher Epic Fool, good evening. Good to see you. Epic Fool is in the house, lads. Now, let's have a look at this. So we have 1, 2, 3. We have a handful of people ready to jump in. Jump in, lads. If you could help crack, Will you repeat this lesson next Monday? We can do, Martel, yes. If anyone's getting stuck with stuff, don't worry. There's always time to repeat what we're doing here. And there's a manual, everything that we're going to do. There's a step-by-step guide. It's telling you exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to pretend that we have just obtained the ATIS. Okay? And then we're going to contact Shannon and we're going to tell them who we are and what do we want. Okay, so it's a step-by-step. You read out the green, the controller reads out the blue. And the reds, they're the bits that change. It depends on the aircraft. All right? So, that'll go over there. I have a little, this page here that we're working on for our, whatchamacallit. That's here. So, ground is going to be call sign Echo India Tango Tango Mike. So I'll clear myself first. So Gibbo's in ground. So I'm going to jump into ground and I'm going to ask Gibbo for a clearance. And then I'm going to move over and go to tower because I'll be the first. I'm the guinea pig. And again, I'm going to read this, right? Martel just gifted a tier 1 sub to Epic Fool. Look, thank you very, very much indeed, man. Cheers. So I'm going to jump on. I'm going to be like, I'm going to say Shannon ground, Echo India, Tango Tango Mike. Gibbo's going to read that part. That's how this works. Yeah? Okay. Jump in there. Okay, let's see what happens. Shannon ground, Echo India, Tango Tango Mike.
Echo India, Tango Tango Mike. Shannon Grand, pass your message.
Echo India, Tango Tango Mike is a Cessna 172. GA parking with information Bravo. Request VFR departure to Birr via Portumna and engine start.
Echo India Tango Tango Mike Roger. You are approved VFR to Birr via Portumna and engine start. Squawk 2601. Active runway is 06. QNH 1011. Call for taxi.
Approved VFR to Birr and engine start. Squawk 2601. Active runway is 06. QNH is 1011. Echo India Tango Tango Mike. Nice. I followed all that. He gave me a squawk code. So I'm the only one that's going to be 2601. The next person, 2602. The next person, 2603. And so on, and so on, and so on. All right? You happy enough so far? Cool. So I want to get my clearance. I'm allowed to start, right? So I'm approved for engine start up. So we're going to go for an engine start. So fuel shut off valve is in. Park and brake is on. Battery is on. Beacon, nav, mags 1, 2, and 3. Mixture rich. Prop open. Fuel pump on, throttle out, throttle max, pump off, throttle out, mixture out, clear prop. And we have a good start in the engine. Alternator on, avionics 1 and 2 on. Need to put in our barrow, reset our direction indicator. Barrow goes in, 1011. Avionics are coming online. Whoop whoop, Zybok, planes in the air. Nice. So again, we're going to request a taxi, so we need to know where we're going to be taxiing from. This is where you bring up your chart. Now we know that according to the book or the document, we're going to across the apron, Alpha, hold short runway 06. That's what we're going to do. All right. So startup is done. I'm ready for taxi, so I'm going to do the next bit. Echo India Tango Tango Mike, general aviation, parking, ready to taxi.
Echo India Tango Tango Mike. Taxi via the apron, Alpha, and hold short runway 06.
Taxi via the apron and Alpha, hold short runway 06. Echo India Tango Tango Mike. Okay, we have permission to taxi. So taxi via the apron, Alpha, and hold short 06. Nice. A week till a certain song contest. Go on yourself, Keen. Jesus, Gibbo, he sounds so dreamy right now. Doesn't he though? Right, taxi lights. Pitot heat. Park and brake. Make sure avionics are on, which they are. Standby. 2601.
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
01. That was terrifying in every conceivable way.
Ground, good afternoon. Helicopter Golf Bravo Zulu India Oscar request engine start for VFR Flight to Birr via Bird Hill and Portumna.
Ooh.
Golf Bravo Zulu India Oscar. Shannon Grand, good evening. You are approved VFR to Birr via Portumna and engine start. Squawk 2602. Active runway is 06. QNH 1011. Call for taxi.
Cleared for engine start and a VFR to Birr via Portumna. Squawk 2602. Active runway 06. QNH 1011 and will call for taxi. Golf India Oscar.
So remember, lads, give it a shot. Jump on. Follow the book. You're reading it line by line. If you follow the book, you can do this. We'll help you along. So if you're sitting there thinking, Jesus, I can't, you can. I'm telling you, you can. If you can't, right? Yeah, baby. Smooth as silk, isn't he? Absolutely. You almost got me there, Viper Strike. Keen just has the edge for catching me. Keened. Right, now, so we're taxiing. All is well in the realm. We have a little map here. We're not going to be flying by it, but it's there if we need it, right? That's okay, Red Man. Take your time, man. Take your time. So, Shannon ground is now active. I'll jump onto tower. And it'll be a bit of crack as I'm doing that. Keening is an art. Indeed it is, Keen. Indeed it is. Right, so we continue to taxi.
That's a big 10-4, good buddy.
That's a big 10-4, good buddy. Who's that? Filthy! Thank you very, very much indeed. Jesus, 11 months, man. Thank you very, very much. Very kind of you. We need to get a Lars unit up and running for these flights. A Lars unit? A Lars unit? Where do I know that name from? Matty, what's that?
Shannon ground, Zulu Sierra India Charlie Echo.
Last aircraft calling. Please repeat your call sign.
Shannon ground, Zulu Sierra India Charlie Echo.
Zulu Sierra India Charlie Echo. Shannon Ground, pass your message.
Lower
Zulu
airspace.
Sierra
Yeah.
India Charlie Echo. This time Cessna 172, General Aviation Parking. Information Bravo. Request VFR departure to Birr via Pomona and engine start.
What Muse fan said.
Zulu Sierra India Charlie Echo. You are approved via 4 to Birr via Portumna and engine start. Squawk 2603. Active runway is 06. QNH 1011. Call for taxi.
Approved for VFR to Birr and engine start. Squawk 2603. Active runway 6. QNH 1011. Zulu Sierra India Charlie Echo.
Zulu Charlie Echo. Read back correct.
Okay, run up complete.
Shannon ground, helicopter, India Oscar, we're ready for taxi.
Helicopter India Oscar. Shannon Ground. Taxi via the apron. Alpha and hold short.
Who is this?
runway 06.
MG, man, good to see you. I just got here. What's the ATC app? We're just using Discord. It's to help Xbox pilots and new pilots. You know, just break the ice, get a bit of training under your belt, and our plan is we're moving towards VATSim, you know, but there's no rush. We take our time. There's lots of stuff to learn, and we're helping out each other. So if you'd like to do some stuff online, this is where we start from. So join in, dude. Join in.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, so we continue our taxi up here. We were told to hold short runway 06. We're going to talk to Shannon Ground once we get here, and then we're going to be put over to Shannon Tower. So far, so good. Okay, hold short runway 06. And we'll talk on frequency. Echo India Tango Tango Mike is holding short runway 06 at Alpha.
Echo India Tango Tango Mike. Contact Tower, your good self, on 118.7. See ya.
Over to Tower 118.7. Echo India Tango Tango Mike. See ya. Okay, nice. Right, so now I'm going to change frequency over to Tower. Oh, Jesus, we have a Tower.
Shannon Ground, this is...
Okay, so... Shannon Tower, Echo India Tango Tango Mike, holding short runway 06 at Alpha, ready to copy. Echo India Tango Tango Mike, hold position after departure runway 06, cleared on track to the northeast, not above altitude 3000 VFR, QNH 1011. Hold position after departure runway 06, cleared on track to the northeast, not above altitude 3000 feet VFR, QNH 1011, Echo India Tango Tango Mike. Echo India Tango Tango Mike, correct. Surface wind 060, 4 knots. Runway 06, clear takeoff. Report when airborne. Clear takeoff, runway 06. Report when airborne. Echo India Tango Tango Mike. Alright, alright. Break off. Transponder altitude mode. We're not to go above 3,000 feet. The power here now, Murph. Landing lights come on. Strobe lights are on. We're walking, talking, and we're squawking. Check out the windows. Make sure there's nothing on a short final or approach. No obstacles. Nothing to worry about. Let's see what happens here. Epic's on Unicom. Epic, do you want to jump into the tower? And then once I get to Birr, I'll jump on the tower. If you want, you don't have to. Okay, heading is going to go heading mode. Oh, there you divil. Okay, we're rolling. Mixture in. Power set. Let's ramble. Here's 60. Oopsie daisy. Okay, we're looking good. Shannon Tower, Echo India, Tango Tango Mike, airborne. Echo India, Tango Tango Mike, no further ATC available. Squawk VFR, monitor Unicom 122.8. Bye-bye. Squawk VFR, monitor Unicom 122.8 for Echo India, Tango Tango Mike. See ya. Alright. Squawk 7000. Over to Unicom 122.8. And that's us done. Now we just fly our VFR route, yeah? So we have a couple of waypoints here, so we know what we're doing, yeah? Our first waypoint that we want to fly was the town of Scariff, yeah? So we're going to continue tracking here to the northeast, as was our want, yeah? We're going to climb up to 3,000 feet. I got the autopilot on now just to help me because I'm incredibly lazy. We're going to go heading mode. Okay. And we're going to ramble all the way up to... We'll just go around 2,600 feet, give or take. I don't need to be 3,000 here. There are a couple of obstacles, just mountains there we need to keep an eye on. But we're okay. Scariff, for the Death Star plans. Yeah. I try not to use the word monitor when I send pilots to Unicom. I think monitor encourages people not to transmit when on Unicom. Well, no, like they'll monitor Unicom, but like what I tend to do, I'll actually tune into Unicom, but then I'll keep monitoring the last controller or the next controller, just so I can hear what's going on. You know what I mean? That's what I tend to do. Okay, so basically all I'm going to do here, I continue on flying until I get to Scariff. Once I get to Scariff, I'm going to be doing a small turn over to Mount Shannon. And once I get to Mount Shannon, I'm going to head on up over to Portumna. From Portumna, I'm going to contact Birr Traffic. We're going to make our way in, and we're going to do a standard overhead join, and we're going to be landing on runway 36. And that's all going to be traffic, right? So I'm just going to continue to fly on here for a bit until we start getting more people contacting Shannon Tower. Because I'm monitoring Tower, I can talk to them. And I'll give them their clearances and whatever. There is a rather large debate around that word for monitor. Yeah, a monitor is like, well, I can monitor it, but like, does that mean I take part if I hear something? But it's there. Monitor. It's basically
Shannon Tower. Good evening. Helicopter Golf Bravo Zulu India Oscar holding short runway 06 ready for departure.
Hang on a second. Where's me thing? Helicopter. Okay. VFR. Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay, button. Sorry, lads. You have to bear with me now. Helicopter Golf Bravo Zulu India Oscar. Shannon Tower. Hold position. After departure, runway 06. You're cleared on track to the northwest, not above altitude 3,000 feet VFR, UNH 1011.
Hold position after departure, cleared on track northwest, not above altitude 3,000 feet, QNH 1011, helicopter India Oscar.
And Golf Bravo Zulu India Oscar, correct. Surface wind 0604 knots, runway 06, clear takeoff and report when airborne.
Clear takeoff runway 06 and Wilco, Golf Bravo Zulu India Oscar.
Now, couple of things. The controller might get a little bit peeved if you cut short your call sign before they do it. Also, they want you to read back instruction and not say a Wilco or a copy. You'll figure that one out by listening in on the frequency. So if you're unsure, repeat everything. If you're fairly happy, you're okay. But rule of thumb, repeat exactly what they've said to you, especially at this stage, especially now. Yeah. I've just spent the last hour configuring and calibrating my Thrustmaster Airbus throttle quadrant. Hey, nice. Rodney, good to see you, man. Okay, so we're waiting for a helicopter then to talk to us, and then they're going to go to, once they take off, they're going to jump onto Unicom. How are we getting on with our flight? Say nothing to no one. So as I was busy there, I absolutely burst through the altitude. Oh, Murphy, you're an absolute disaster. Jesus. Why wasn't anyone watching that? Arm your altitude, you absolute numpty. Altitude, Murph. Altitude, yes. 2,600.
Golf Bravo Zulu India Oscar airborne.
Okay, hang on. Plane is broken. Right. And Golf Bravo Zulu India Oscar. No further ATCs available. Squawk VFR and monitor Unicom 122.8. Bye-bye.
Roger, Squawk VFR and monitor Unicom 121.8. See you.
Yeah, so I'm controlling us. Bear with me. Murphy, you big idiot. I know these things, lads. I know these things. I do them so I keep you on your toes. Yeah. Sure.
Shannon Tower, Zulu Sierra India, Charlie Echo, holding short, runway 6 at Alpha, ready to copy.
Ooh. I think it's this guy. Okay, watch the speed. Fly the plane, Murph. Zulu Sierra India, Charlie Echo, Shannon Tower. Hold position. After departure, runway 06, cleared on track to the northeast, not above altitude 3,000 feet VFR, UNH 10. Oh, he can't hear me. Balls! Balls, he couldn't hear me. We'll try it again.
Hello there.
Zulu Sierra India, Charlie Echo, Shannon Tower. Hold position. After departure, runway 06, cleared on track to the northwest, not above altitude 3,000 feet VFR, UNH 1011.
Hold position after departure, runway 6, clear for track to the northeast, not above 3,000 feet, VFR, QNH 1011, Zulu Sierra India Charlie Echo.
Zulu Sierra India Charlie Echo, correct. Surface wind 0605 knots, runway 06, clear takeoff and report when airborne.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 6, Zulu Sierra India Charlie Echo, report when upwind. When airborne, sorry. Zulu Sierra India Charlie Echo.
Shannon Towers, Golf Mike Hotel Tango Romeo at the Alpha hold of runway 06.
Golf Mike Hotel Tango Romeo, Shannon Tower. Hold position. After departure, runway 06, contact I'll start again. Golf Mike Hotel Tango Romeo, Shannon Tower, hold position after departure, runway 6, you're cleared on track to the northwest, not above altitude 3,000 feet VFR, QNH 1011.
Shannon Tower, this is November 9510 Victor, proceeding to arrive to Delta India Golf Alpha 2 Delta arrival into Shannon, runway 24.
Golf Tango Romeo holding position at Alpha, cleared to track northwest, not above 3,000, Q is 1011. Golf Mike Hotel Tango Romeo.
Golf Mike Hotel Tango Romeo, just to confirm, track is to the northeast, not above 3,000 feet VFR.
Track northeast, not above 3,000 VFR. Golf Mike Hotel Tango Romeo.
Golf Mike Hotel Tango Romeo, correct. Surface wind 0605 knots, runway 06, clear takeoff and report when airborne.
Copy the winds, clear for takeoff, report airborne. Golf Tango Romeo.
Zulu Sierra India Charlie Echo airborne.
Zulu Sierra India Charlie Echo. Roger, no further ATCs available. Squawk VFR, monitor Unicom 122.8. Bye.
Squawk VFR and monitor Unicom on 122.8 Zulu Sierra India Charlie Echo.
Now, Viper jumped in there as well, but Viper, we don't have you as in, you wouldn't have, like...
Shannon Tower, Golf Delta Bravo, Alpha Yankee, holding short, runway 06 at Alpha, ready to copy.
Golf Delta Bravo, Alpha Yankee, Shannon Tower, hold position after departure runway 06, cleared on track to the northeast, not above altitude 3,000 feet VFR, QNH 1011. Balls, he didn't hear because I didn't unmute myself. We'll get there. Golf Delta Bravo Alpha Yankee, Shannon Tower, hold position after departure runway 06, cleared on track to the northeast, not above altitude 3,000 feet VFR, QNH 1011.
Hold position after departure runway 06, cleared on track to the northwest, not above altitude 3,000 feet VFR, QNH 1011, Golf Delta Bravo Alpha Yankee.
And Golf Delta Bravo Alpha Yankee, correct. Surface wind 0605 knots, runway 06, clear takeoff and report when airborne.
Clear for takeoff, runway 06, Golf Delta Bravo Alpha Yankee, report when airborne.
Jesus, multitasking here and it. What? Who's flying? Where am I even going? Who's in charge? I'm at Scariff. I need to turn.
Golf Mike Hotel Tango Romeo airborne.
Jesus, lads. Hang on. And Golf Mike Hotel Tango Romeo, Roger. No further ATCs available. Squawk VFR, monitor Unicom 122.8. We'll see you.
Shannon Tower, this is November 9510 Victor, about to arrive under approach Romeo Oscar Sierra Romeo Oscar, ILS approach to runway 24. Copy.
Squawking VFR, Golf Mike Hotel Tango Romeo, 122.8.
November 951 Tango Victor, Shannon Tower. Repeat message.
This is November 9510 Victor, proceeding to arrive to ILS approach runway 24.
November 9510 Victor, runway 06 is active. Report downwind for runway 06.
All right, copy. I'll change flight plan.
Hang on, Viper. If you're flying with like a
Golf
pre-made
Delta
flight plan,
Bravo Alpha Yankee
November
airborne.
Oscar Echo.
just do your thing, Viper. Don't talk to us. Just land. It'd be grand. Because we're doing VFR departures heading one direction. You know what I mean? Who was the last airport calling? Why am I still flying me plane? Where in the name of Jesus am I? Oh wait, here I am. Look. Portumna, lads. Where? There's someone trying to talk and I can't hear them. Now I'll pull my hands out with my face. Mount Shannon is there, lads. Yeah, right. There's Mount Shannon. Continue on,
Shannon
Murphy.
Tower, November Oscar Echo, holding short runway 06 at Alpha. Ready to copy.
Jesus, there's someone ready to copy. Who is this now? Who was that now?
November Oscar Echo.
November. Shut up! You can't hear me on this frequency. November Oscar Echo. November Oscar Echo, Shannon Tower, hold position. After departure, runway 06, cleared on track to the northeast, not above altitude 3,000 feet VFR, QNH 1011.
November Oscar Echo, hold position. After departure, runway 06, cleared on track to the northeast, not above altitude 3,000 feet VFR, QNH 1011. November Oscar Echo.
November Oscar Echo. Correct. Surface wind 0605 knots. Runway 06. Cleared takeoff. Report when airborne.
November Oscar Echo, cleared for takeoff. Runway 06. Report when airborne.
Golf Delta Bravo Alpha Yankee airborne.
Golf Delta Bravo Alpha Yankee, Roger. No further ATC is available. Squawk VFR, monitor Unicom 122.8. Bye-bye.
Squawk VFR and monitor Unicorn on 122.8. Golf Delta Bravo Alpha Yankee.
It's all grand. I have to press 3 buttons to get me voice back over to this fella here. Right? And then I had to talk without pressing the other button. Stack him, pack him, and rack him. Jesus. Right, we're on track now to Portumna. At a point of order, it's possible to fly and control at the same time. Yeah, right. And who said we...
November
what?
Oscar Echo, airborne.
Jesus, that was quick. November Oscar Echo, Roger. No further ATC is available. Squawk VFR, monitor Unicom on 122.8. See ya. That was fast.
November Oscar Echo, squawk VFR. Monitor Unicom on 122.8. November Oscar Echo.
Very good. You know, very good. What was the other thing? Yeah, I can do all of that and even play some music if I had to. Do you know what I mean? Now, can you dance the control and listen as well? Descend now. Wait, what? No, I'm okay. I need to do a position report over Portumna, though. Jesus, I should be in Unicom now, but I can't be in Unicom now. Ah! This is terrifying. It's all grand, lads. Totally fine. Nothing to worry about. Canoe head redeemed a slippage. Jesus. We used to dance on the midnight shifts? Really? Dancing, you say? You often heard it said, Scott. I mean, you can dance if you want to, you know. You deserve a sit.
Shannon Tower, Delta Echo Golf Tango Hotel, holding short runway 06 at Alpha, ready to copy.
Delta Echo Golf Tango Hotel, Shannon Tower, hold position. After departure, runway 06, cleared on track to the northeast, not above altitude 3,000 feet VFR, QNH 1011.
Hold position after departure runway 06, cleared on track to north northeast, not above altitude 3000 VFR, QNH 1011 Delta Echo Golf Tango Hotel.
Delta Echo Golf Tango Hotel, correct. Surface wind 0605 knots, runway 06. Clear takeoff and report when airborne.
Delta Echo Golf Tango Hotel cleared for takeoff, runway 06, will report when airborne.
Epic! Don't worry about
Shannon
it!
Tower, Echo India, Yankee Golf Charlie holding short, runway 06 at Alpha, ready to copy.
Jesus, don't even get that call sign. Echo India Yankee Golf Charlie, Shannon Tower, hold position. After departure, runway 06, cleared on track to the northeast, not above altitude 3000 feet VFR, UNH 1011.
Hold position after departure, runway 06, cleared on track to the northeast, not above altitude 3000 feet VFR, QNH 1011, Echo India Yankee Golf Charlie.
Echo India Yankee Golf Charlie, correct. Surface wind 0605 knots, runway 06, clear takeoff, and report when airborne.
Clear for takeoff, runway 06, Echo India Yankee Golf Charlie, report when airborne.
Scott, you can dance if you want to, you know. Right? Do you know what I mean? Up the yard and all that. Yeah. Oh wait, Jesus! I forgot I'm on the gadget. I can't listen to music. I have to control balls. Right, keep it professional, Murph, will you? Jesus! Now, where's me? The police. Matt Arcade is having the crack. I'm at Portumna. I need to talk to Unicom, but I can't talk to Unicom because I'm on the tower. Oh, Jesus. Watch this now for a bit of, you know. I say nothing else for a minute. Just bear with me. Birr traffic, Echo India Tango Tango Mike is a Cessna 172, 12 miles to the west at Portumna, 2,700 feet, inbound for an overhead join, Birr traffic. I mean, they didn't even notice me missing. You know what I mean? Jesus. Jesus, Murph, show some, what? The core? It's grand! Who's on tower now? I'm on tower! I didn't go anywhere!
Shannon Tower. Golf Alpha Mike Oscar November, holding short, runway 06 at Alpha, ready to copy.
I can do this. Golf Alpha Mike Oscar November, Shannon Tower, hold position. After departure, runway 06, cleared to track northeast, not above altitude 3,000 feet VFR, QNH 1011.
Hold position. After departure, runway 06, cleared on track to the northeast, not above 3,000 feet, VFR, QNH 1011, Golf Alpha Mike Oscar November.
Golf Alpha Mike Oscar November, correct. Surface wind 0604 knots, runway 06, clear takeoff, and report when airborne.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 06, Golf Alpha Mike Oscar November, report when airborne.
I need more screens down here, lads. It's an absolute joke. I'll put you in this camera so you can actually see the carnage look, right? You see hands moving and doing things, right? Doing things. Where's my flight plan? Jesus, Murph, turn right.
Echo India Alpha Juliet Hotel airborne.
Ah, Jesus. Into this screen. India Juliet Alpha airborne. Who was that airborne? Oh, Jesus. Who was that? Was that Yankee Golf Charlie? It was Dave. Last aircraft calling, repeat. Say again.
Echo India Alpha Juliet Hotel airborne.
And Delta Echo Golf Tango. Hold for a second. What's your call sign?
Tower, Echo India, Alpha Julia Hotel.
India Hotel. Roger. No further ATCs available. Squawk VFR. Monitor Unicom 122.8. See ya.
Squawk VFR and monitor Unicom on 122.8 Echo India Alpha Julia Hotel. See ya.
Echo India. What was it? Echo India. He changed his call sign. You can't change your call sign. It's AJH. It's brilliant. But you can't change your call sign. That confuses the whole Jesus thing. Who's in charge? Someone give him a number. I can't even remember this call sign. Where am I going? I'm lost.
Golf Alpha Mike Oscar November is airborne.
Hang on. Who's there? Who was that? Shh. We got this. No, we don't got this. We got this. Golf Alpha Mike Oscar November. Roger. No further ATCs available. Squawk VFR. Monitor Unicom 122.8. Bye.
Squawk VFR. Monitor Unicom on 122.8. Golf Alpha Mike Oscar November. Bye.
Who was that? Hang on a second. Where am I going, man? I'm miles away. I mean, I'm exactly where I need to. Oh, Jesus, I need to report to Birr. Hang on, lads. Say nothing for the minute. Birr traffic, Cessna 172, 2,700 feet, inbound for the overhead join for runway 36. Birr traffic. Alright, I'm back on tower now. Jesus, Murphy, descend here now as a devil, will you? This is all getting out of hand. Down to 2,000 feet, yes. Down, you devil, yes. Bring the speed back because you're going to make a balls of it. It's all grand, lads. Someone jump on tower there for the minute, will you? Go on, you'd be great crack. This is what happens when the French go on strike for ATC. Murphy takes over. Jesus, I look very tanned though, don't I? You know. We're yet away, Murph. Yeah. Where were we today? Oh, no, we're in Ireland today. We're doing this completely wrong. Well, we're not really. We're all right. We're descending down to this altitude. You look great, Murph. And you're doing great. Thanks, Badgers. What is it? Shannon Tower. Yeah, Shannon Tower. I'm in Shannon Tower. But no one else is. I need to do an overhead join. But I kind of drifted a little bit to the north. I'm VFR, it's totally sound. I'm allowed, right? Portumna is just massive, that's all. This is miles away.
Shannon Tower is 118.7 and open.
That sounded dreamy. Thanks very much, Shannon Tower. This is Echo India Tango Mike signing off. Now, lads.
Tango Mike. See ya.
Now, lads, huh? You thought you had it handy with me. You actually have a real-world air traffic controller, amongst other things, in there now. Yeah, you thought you were being smart now, lads, huh? You thought you were being smart. Now, where am I? Oh, yeah, Unicom. Right. Unicorn! I'm on Unicorn. Where in the name of... Where am I? Look out the window, will you? Oh, there's the windmills. Right, so the airport's over here, look. Yes. Now, if you happen to spot a weather balloon, it's totally fine. Totally fine. Don't need to worry about it at all, right? So now we need to do all our joining pattern thingy majiggies, don't we? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Right, Murph. To infinity and beyond. Autopilot off. Okay, so we need to be at 2,000 feet and we're going to ramble in.
Traffic Zulu Sierra India Charlie Echo Cessna 172 12 miles to the west of Portumna at 2,500 feet inbound for overhead join to Birr traffic.
Okay, it's coming together now, lads. Coming together now. Okay, so 2,000 feet. Remember, that's 1,000 feet over the circuit. Rambling this way, Murph. Easy now, don't make a balls of it. For traffic, you got a Cessna 172 inbound for an overhead join at 2,000 feet for a full stop for runway 36. Birr traffic. Now that sounded silky smooth and gorgeous, didn't it? Yeah, of course it did. Oh, I'm on this screen. Boosh. Oh wait, why don't you
For
say
traffic, helicopter Golf Bravo Zulu India Oscar 5 nautical miles to the west of the field. We're making a non-standard or low-level approach. Birr traffic.
You bastard! I can't even say it. Don't make a low-level approach. That's brilliant. Why can't we keep it super ethereal, super simple? Jesus. Right? Why can't we just behave? Jeez, it's carnage. Right. Sit up in your chair, Murphy. Where's the... Oh, yeah. I'm directly over it. So we're going to descend on the dead side, right? And for anyone who has... Like, there's the runway there, look. We're doing this, right? We're going to descend on the dead side. But be careful of Matty Loza because he's going to make sure we're all dead. Keep it simple. Yeah. Jesus. For our traffic, you have a Cessna 172 in the overhead, descending down to circuit altitude on the dead side, and we'll be joining on the crosswind. For traffic. Right, get down. 500 feet to go. Get down, you devil. Yes. Winds are 360 or 1. Badgers, I couldn't. They were 360. Did he just say monitor unicorn? He could have. Right, here we go now. I think. Yes. With the altitude down. I've done this before, so I'm actually alright from here. Zulu Sierra Uniform 2-3 is waiting for offenders. Oh, you'll get them. The great offenders.
For traffic, Zulu Sierra India Charlie Echo Cessna 172 5 miles to the east at 2,500 feet, descending for 2,000 feet, inbound for a overhead joint. For traffic.
Right, so the rest of my chatter is going to be traffic reports because I have a few of them to make, right? Get your arse up off the ground, Murphy, will you? Right, so just bear with me, lads. For our traffic, you have a Cessna 172 in the circuit, crosswind for runway 36. Birr traffic.
Birr traffic, Golf Mike Hotel Tango Romeo, we're a Cessna 172, 9 miles to your west. To join the circuit. Golf Mike Hotel Tango Romeo. Birr traffic.
Birr traffic, helicopter Golf Bravo Zulu India Oscar overhead at altitude 400 feet. We'll be making straight into the hangars. Birr traffic.
Birr traffic, you have a Cessna 172, downwind runway 36, full stop. Birr traffic. Godspeed, helicopter. Godspeed.
Birr traffic, station calling. You appear to have a hot mic. Birr traffic.
Oh, behave.
HeliMed 92, we're over the lock door in case something goes wrong.
I need to mute myself. This is hilarious. Now, control your thoughts, Murph. Right. Birr traffic, you have a Cessna 172 on a left base, runway 36, full stop. Birr traffic. Birr traffic, Cessna 172 on a short final, runway 36, full stop. Birr traffic.
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Our traffic Cessna 172 has vacated onto the taxiway for traffic. The scenery isn't installed!
Portumna area traffic helimed 923 nautical miles south of Portumna, 3,500 feet, routing to Athlone.
Jesus.
Traffic Cessna 172 overhead join for runway 36 per traffic.
What's going on? Me scenery isn't working.
Golf Delta Bravo Alpha Yankee, Cessna 172, 5 miles to the east at 2,500 feet, descending to 2,000 feet, inbound for an overhead join by traffic.
I can't believe the scenery isn't installed. What sort of a rookie show is this? Welcome to Amateur Hour. Jesus. Right, now, park break was on. Jesus, I need to lie down after that, lads. What? How did the helicopter... Oh, there he is. Matty, you got on well with the helicopter, you did. By the way, I'm sure you guys have it. There is fantastic scenery here for Birr. Is anyone in a position to live stream their scenery? I'll put you on, like, the Twitch guest chat thingy.
Traffic Cessna 172 descending dead side for runway 36 per traffic.
Descending on the dead side. So that means we have an airplane up here, look. We do! There he is. Iceman.
Traffic. Cessna 172 overhead. 2,000 feet for a circuit join for runway 36. Traffic.
It's all happening now, lads. It's all happening now. Jepson, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I always fly with Birr traffic or with the Birr scenery. I don't know what I've done. The stupid thing. But it's grand, right? It's totally fine. Okay.
Traffic 1 Cessna 172 on final.
So this is Gibbo screen looking at the horse. Look. This is brilliant. And then if you do Matty.
Traffic, Golf Delta.
There's Matty's camera.
Alpha Yankee, Cessna 172, vacated runway 3.
We've nothing coming in on Muse's side yet, though. Muse, you need to press the button.
No worries. Next time, hopefully.
I did press it.
Did you?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. This is science. Wait now, did I... Oh, hang on. It says something here, look.
Last aircraft calling, please repeat your call sign.
We can hear Gibbo.
Traffic, November Oscar Echo Cessna 172 crosswind for runway 36 Birr.
State your intentions.
Like Gibbo's on a final view, and I can be able... Yeah, I can see that. So if you have Gibbo's camera here, look. So here's Matty, and there's Gibbo. It's actually really good. Lads, I need to play around with these cameras because I know, like, you've seen it before. The Shadows do it. I think Epic set the lads it up before. They've all multiple camera views. I'd love something like that for some of our streams. So we'll play with this some other night.
Says the
You know.
172 clear runway 36.
Badgers, you take care.
Gate at your discretion. Taxi at will.
Shannon area traffic, November 731 November Echo is passing overhead at 2,500.
Talk to you later. Sweet, thanks, Epic. So there's Gibbo, there's Matty. Hang on a second. Hang on a second, lads. We'll actually do a job here. That should be Muse, but we've not coming in yet. This is Matty.
Birr traffic. Delta Echo Golf Tango Hotel Cessna 172 in the overhead join for
And then we have Gibbo.
Birr traffic.
Oh, wait. Hang on, don't do that, Marv.
Birr traffic, November Oscar Echo Cessna 172 final for runway 36 full stop. Birr traffic.
Okay, so there's Gibbo and Matty. Muse, you know what you need to do? You probably need to use screen share or OBS for the like a virtual camera. Do you know what I mean?
Descending to 2,000 feet inbound.
OBS.
Join Birr traffic.
Yeah, I think so. Because I think you need OBS for this to pick it up.
Okay, that's it there. That's it recording now, but I don't know if I've it set up right.
No, don't hit record. If we start virtual camera. You should have an option to start a virtual camera now.
Okay, yeah, I'm after hitting it down now.
Okay, and then just when you're in your Twitch settings for the Twitch chat thingy, just tell it what you need to select your camera as the OBS virtual one. You get me? This is brilliant, crack. If it works. Look at this, we got 3, 4 friggin' screens on. This is science on another level, lads. Here's Gibbo looking at a balloon. Stop checking me undercarriage, Gibbo.
Traffic. Echo India Alpha Juliet Hotel Cessna 152 in the overhead join for runway 36 Birr traffic.
Bird traffic November Oscar Echo has vacated runway 36.
Yeah, I can tidy up all this stuff. We'll make it look kind of granular. Yeah, Muse, so I think if you're in your settings there for that, right, you just go into the... We're having connection issues. Return now. Okay, hang on, Muse. It just says waiting for a guest to connect. Okay. And you can have up to 5 guests here. This is kind of handy, isn't it? It's very handy. I know, lads. I'm telling you. I keep knocking off Gibbo screen, though. Also announced runway vacated. Good call. Hey, Rad Baron is here. Good to see you.
Delta Golf Tango Hotel, crosswind for runway 36, Birr traffic.
Okay. Waiting for a guest to connect. Okay. That was good fun. Like, there's a lot of learning in the whole ATC stuff, and I got friggin' nuts there for a couple of minutes. I got nuts. Hilarious crack though, like very, very funny. I bit off more than I can chew, but like the whole idea, lads, keep practicing this sort of stuff. It's the circuits. You gotta keep working on the circuits. The voice procedure will follow, but definitely keep working on the circuits. You know what I mean? That's okay, Muse. That's okay. Let's see here now. We'll get that one out. And then we've Matty up here, say. And then we've Gibbo.
Birr traffic Echo India Alpha Juliet Hotel Cessna 152 down wind for runway 36 full stop Birr traffic.
It seems to work a little bit, doesn't it? Seems to be working a little bit. We'll have a listen into the lads here now for a sec. So like the difference rather of some of the scenes, right? Because me, like in Egypt, I didn't select the scenery. I never installed it. I didn't have it running for tonight, which was a rookie mistake. I hate to see it. So let's see now. Just give us screen. Let's do us something. Right screen. Do something. Do something like this. Just bear with me there for a second, lads. Do the science. Right.
Birr traffic Echo India Alpha Juliet Hotel Cessna 152 final runway 36 full stop Birr traffic.
Kind of gives you an idea. Can't believe I don't have the thing installed. The airport. So what you do? Not working, must be too sciencey. That's okay, Muse. It's okay. Right, but we kind of get the idea. Anyway, lads, listen, thank you very much indeed for all the different camera angles. They are working. So there'll be a button in the link I click. You just click on it and then it should say getting ready, and then it connects in. Hey, nice approach by a plane. Look at that. We got 2 cameras on him. Nice. Nicely done. Look at that. We have Maddie and Gibbo checking him out. Look at that, lads. That's deadly. I feel like Ian Fisher here setting up for the match. Ian, if you're still there, how do you do it? How does he do it? We don't know. We don't know. But yeah, we'll figure out this crack the next day. Just multiple cameras. It's wonderful to have, and it could be really handy then if we're looking at different perspectives while flying.
Birr traffic Echo India Alpha Juliet Hotel Cessna 152 vacated runway 36 Birr traffic.
Nice. And like for next week, we're going to do this
traffic
again.
element 92 just to the east of the airfield. We're going to sit down on the eastern side of the active.
Ooh.
Bird traffic Golf Alpha Mike Oscar November, Cessna 172, in the overhead join for runway 36, bird traffic.
That's cool. It is deadly looking. But like, if you can, lads, it's practice on the circuits. That's the
Birr
main thing.
traffic, November 731 November Echo is 12 miles to the west over Portuma, inbound to land. Birr.
Again, your voice procedure, lads, is top notch. Like, it's the fact that you're able to jump on and be talking. Like, we've had what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We've had about 12 or 13 of us on tonight, which is great, considering it. Like, you know what I mean? It's great. Now, I don't know if any of you guys actually used VATSim directly tonight. I don't think there was any coverage.
Bird traffic, Golf Alpha, Mike Oscar November, say 172, descending on the dead side for 136. Bird traffic.
But I like the way we have different camera perspectives.
Birr traffic, November Oscar Echo.
That's really handy. Not using it, but reading all about it. Really, really handy. Because the quality seems fairly good. Well, the quality seems acceptable. Like, it'll only do 1080 or whatever. But you can kind of see the differences from everyone's perspective. It's really, really good, you know. Right, okay, well, we will say a huge thank you to Gibbo and a huge thank you to Maddie for providing the screens for us, lads. Thank you very, very much indeed. And what we'll do then, we'll do a thing over here, look. So if I do, how do we... Let's see now. What's wrong with this? Okay, so we'll stop that. Yes. And we continue on. So, to recap, lads, what have we done tonight? Because it gained legs fairly quick, didn't it? So, let's do a full recap on what we're doing and then what we're going to do next week, all right? You can see where it's getting more difficult when we're trying to include real ATC or any form of ATC. And the reason being is, well, like, you know, it's when we're trying to use ATC for any of this, unless you actually have a radar, you're always going to be under pressure, right? I mean, it's just not going to do what we want it to do without VATSim. In saying that, we still have options that we can practice and we can work off. So, like, for example, next week we'll probably take off from an uncontrolled and land at a controlled. That'll make life a little bit easier. So it'll skip the clearances and everything else. And we're still going to kind of bob and weave. We're going to keep doing this for a while until we're at a stage where we're very, very comfortable. The voice procedure on Unicom, well, it's straightforward, isn't it? It's easy because you don't need to spend time worrying about exactly what it is you need to say. There's no one else talking to you. When you're in a controlled environment, that's a little bit more difficult because there's a procedure, there's a flow of information that you need to say and also the controller needs to say, and you both kind of need to confirm each other, right? But for that bit, if you work off the scripts that are in the document, it helps because it doesn't have to be word for word. It's going to help you along with the entire procedure. You know what I mean? So where we're at the moment, this lesson that we did tonight, right? Our VFR Flight 2, which was lesson number 4. And what we did with that, it was our second VFR flight in which we flew from Shannon up to Birr. And this is it here, right? Because I've been using Volanta to track it in my flight. So if I end the flight, I can now review it, right? So we took off from Shannon. We flew up Scariff, Mount Shannon, which was over here, right? And then it was up by Portumna. And then my overhead join. Don't mind the last bit, but the overhead join was fairly okay. I just went a little bit wide, yeah? And then, you know, my landing rate, I don't know what it was. It was 178. But you don't worry about landing rates. It's all about, can you get the job done, yeah? So that's how we review our flight to see what the story is and how we're doing it, right? When it comes to the learning element, the voice procedure, because this is the thing that throws us. All the information is here. This is what you say, Shannon ground and your call sign, or whatever airport it happens to be. And, you know, if you get the chance, I want you to practice this as much as possible. Last week, Adam was able to jump on into our own Discord and do ATC on VATSim for us. That's amazing. If he can do the same this week, he will. So keep your eye on it. I'll do announcements. If Adam lets me know he's going to, you know, jump on the tower and go live, well, then I'll let you guys know. Even if you jump on for an hour, even if you jump on and you don't want to do the actual ATC part of it, just have a listen in. It's very, very helpful. All right. So what we've done tonight, we planned a flight from Shannon to Birr. We picked a couple of visual reference points or waypoints along the way, and we operated from a controlled environment, transitioning into an uncontrolled environment. Now, there will be differences. If a higher level of ATC was active, well, they wouldn't say report when airborne and then, get rid of you quickly. Because if there's a center online, they could provide a flight information service. We'll learn more about them a little later, but basically, if we requested a basic service as we're flying along, they won't give us instructions or vectors. The flight information service would be, an example would be, Echo India, Tango Tango Mike, be advised you have traffic on your 11 o'clock, 10 miles, same altitude, helicopter, report them in sight. Or be advised there's a helicopter operating in and around Portumna. They're giving you alerts or information. They're telling you what's happening. They could also say, if you were flying towards Birr, they could contact you and say, be advised there is military activity in and around Birr. Okay. As an aircraft are flying, because it's a military training area. These are the things that you can get, that extra layer of happiness, because they're telling you what's going on. They're taking a lot of chance out of it, right? Anyway, so what we did for this, we planned our flight. Very, very simple. We jumped on to, I use Navigraph. If you guys don't use Navigraph, you don't need it. It is a paid subscription. If you don't have it, you don't need it. I just find it very, very helpful. Okay. Who be this? Sagacious. Welcome in. Many thanks for the follow, dude. The only reason Navigraph is probably the best for VFR in Ireland outside owning the official Ordnance Survey maps, right? Because they have the proper zones. If you go on to something like Sky Vector, they'll kind of give you an idea, but it's nothing along this level. This is very, very good. This has holes, missed approaches, it has everything, right? So anyway, we planned a flight which was direct Shannon to Birr, and then we said, hang on, let's make it interesting here. We can follow roads, we can follow rivers, lakes, forests, mountains. It's up to us, we're VFR. We just need to be careful that we don't jump into someone else's frequency or control zone or airspace. Yeah? So we weren't rambling up by, Connacht, for example, or we weren't rambling up by Sligo, and we definitely weren't going into Dublin airspace. Now that can happen. We will be doing flights at some stage. We'll want to fly from Shannon. Let's say actually, here's a good one. We'll want to fly from Shannon over to maybe somewhere down here, down by Blackwater. What's that? Yeah, glider area, Blackwater. There's a small little runway down there, or we can go to Rosslare or something, and we're going to expect to enter the Waterford control zone. But we have to plan, if we don't get clearance into the Waterford control zone, we'll have to fly around it. These are the things we need to be aware of when you're flying in VFR. If you're in the United Kingdom and you want to fly from one area to the next, you can stay between all the different airspaces and just fly and be aware of what's there, or you need to actually enter someone else's airspace. The very same as in the United States. If you want to fly from tower to tower to tower, well, you can see you could leave Cullman region or regional, and you can head over to Bear Creek, or you can go to Hamilton. Well, you can ramble this way. See the way you're dodging all the different airspaces? Stay away from the airspaces. Well, then you're quite okay. You don't need to talk to ATC. Or you plan a flight and you say, no, I want to enter that airspace to get to my next destination. But you have to bear in mind, from a planning perspective, if they say no, you're not allowed in, you need to make sure that you'll expect what will happen. You'll either get routing to the north or to the south. And the most important thing is, you got to make sure you got fuel. I mean, if you're given a divert and you haven't got the fuel from it, you're in trouble now. You know what I mean? Leandro, welcome in. Many thanks for the follow. So our flight plan tonight was simple enough. Shannon up to Birr. We left a control zone. We were told to report when airborne because it was only the tower frequency online. The tower frequency would usually only look after the innermost circle of the zone. So once we leave the zone, monitor Unicom and squawk VFR. So that's what we do, right? So if anyone's asking, we're focusing on the European setup at the moment, EASA, and also ICAO at the moment. We will be doing stuff stateside. We will be doing the North American stuff, but I want us to continue on with this for a little while, and then we'll move over to the American stuff. At the moment, we still have a bit more stuff to learn. We're still in Section 8, by the way. Section 9 is coming kind of fairly hot and fast. But the reason why this is all Section 8 is because we're putting all the pieces that we've been learning over the last couple of weeks into a series of flights. Circuits, and then VFR flights. And very soon we'll have a cross-country, and then very soon after that, we're going to have a international flight, which is going to be super cool. Can you fly international VFR? Of course you can. We got to work around it, though, yeah? So, we planned our flight. We then filed our flight plan, okay? And remember what I said, the easiest way to file a flight plan, well, do a little bit of cheating. Use SimBrief to set it up. You can then pre-file it on a network down here, and when you pre-file it, it'll appear on your page like this. Now you can edit it. You can change it from an IFR flight rule flight to a VFR flight rule flight. And you can change everything in here. Departure, arrival, doesn't matter. The reason why we want SimBrief to do the pre-file on the network for you is because it takes away all the head scratching stuff, mainly when it comes down to equipment. What equipment suffixes you need, transponder to all the sort of jazz. Now, you can do it manually. All this information, it's in our book. It's all here. It tells you what every single last bit of equipment is. It gives you all the codes. If you scroll up here, we did this only a week or two ago. Here it is here, look. All the information that you can possibly need when it comes to the suffixes.
Hello there.
And we've even more. There's tons. It goes on and on and on, right? There's a ton of information here. Like, we're up to whatever, 88 friggin' pages, 21,000 words, lads. You know what I mean? So it's moving on, you know. Just got out my first VATSim flight. Good man yourself. Well done. Is this the document on the Discord? Yes, it is. Version 4, lads. We're up to version 4, right? And version 4, tonight, it moves on, and we talk about joining an aerodrome circuit, okay? And we talk all about the different types of circuits that we can use and the different types of joins that we can do, standard methods of joining a circuit, standard in, or straight in, left or right base, crosswind, downwind, and so on. The one we wanted to focus at tonight, the standard overhead join. The reason why this is done and it's more popular, especially at an uncontrolled airport, but only if the chart doesn't tell you to do something else. The reason why we use this, well, it has a more steady flow of traffic. You overfly the airport means you can visually see ground markings like a weather sock, other aircraft. You're seeing the runway, right? So there's no gaping holes or craters in it, right? And we tend to do this more at uncontrolled airports because you just enter the circuit from the top down and you descend on what's known as the dead side. The dead side is the side of the runway that is not active. There's no circuits over there, yeah? So if the airport is a left-hand circuit, well, the dead side is the right hand, and vice versa, all right? So that's what we did, the overhead join. And then additional information, including on our chart, I might say, well, it's a right-hand circuit, it's a left-hand circuit, designated helicopter areas, just to be aware of all these other little icons. Then we talk about the circuit once again. And the circuit once again, lads, that's where you really need to focus. That's, of all the things you're going to learn thus far on the VFR stuff, the circuit. You can do a flight on VATSim and just do circuits. Or if you want, you can take off from an airport, do a couple of circuits, then depart to another airport, do a couple of circuits, and then fly back again. That could be a full night's entertainment just on VATSim if you want to do it. So just be aware of it, yeah? We also had a look at some other airports, if there are faster moving airports. This one, for example, right? Echo Bravo Kilo Tango. Well, if you have a look at it, helicopters have a much, much shorter circuit. In actual fact, it's tiny and they only do 1,000 feet. Light aircraft under maximum takeoff weight, or 2 tons maximum takeoff weight, they have the same altitude, but they have a slightly extended downwind and a slightly extended upwind. Then you have circuit high performance aircraft above 2 tons. They go up to 1,500 feet and they use a slightly bigger circuit. Why? Because they're moving faster. Yeah. After that, we spoke about the go-arounds and the missed approach. Again, it's just something you need to change your own mentality. Don't always, if you know it's going to be dodge, go around, especially when you start flying online on the network. There's nothing worse than like burying the runway or getting it all wrong and then you crash. You know what I mean? So if you need to do a go around, the controller won't give out to you. They have to deal with it. The controllers are trained to deal with go arounds and missed approaches. They can't say no. Now, if you annoy them enough, of course they might, but they won't. If you have a genuine missed approach or you need to go around, they'll expect you to know what to do. If you're instrument flying, IFR, it's going to be on the chart. If you're VFR, unless they've told you something different, go back to your circuit. Get back into that traffic circuit and continue on. And that's how you do it again. All right? And then we had our flight for tonight. And that was it. Again, all the information is here. Pilot is in green. ATC is in blue. The red, they're going to change depending on your flight. But it gives you a breakdown of each of the stages. Obtaining the ATIS, contacting ATC, startup, taxi, departure, en route, arrival, and landing. It's all there. And then we have a breakdown of what we were doing tonight. So we were flying in, overhead, descending on the dead side, cross back, enter the downwind, base, and then we land. And these are all the position reports we do. Then we review the flight, and a big shout out to the guys over at CIX. There's a link for them up above. They have a lot. They're a VFR club who do all this online. Great, they've great resources, and this is the information that they have for Birr. Because we'll hopefully be doing this as well. They'll organise group flights on VATSim, VFR. It could be maybe 8 or 10 aircraft saying, "Right, lads, we're going to take off from wherever, Shannon or Birr, and we're heading up to Edinburgh. Let's see how this goes." And we all fly together. Now, it's not formation flying, but as a group, we're all going to fly together. We can use our Discord for the comms between the pilots, but we then use VATSim for comms for ATC. It could be a load of fun, right? Gibbo has to do the cooking though when we get there, and Musefan has to bring the tents, and Scott has to play the mandolin. But you get the idea. This is the sort of stuff it'd be great to do. Not all the time. Don't get me wrong. I still love just going flying and having the crack and exploring. But this is a way of enhancing your simulation hobby. It enhances it because, there's nothing as cool, I think, when you take off from one country and land in the other on a network like VATSim or IVAO, different accents. Man, it's cool. It's really, really cool. Plus, you get mandolin. You're joking. Plus, you get to chat and listen to what other pilots are doing. It's a lot of fun. So don't for a second think this is too hard or it's too difficult. It won't be. Stick with it. We'll get you there. My job is to make sure you get there. I don't care how long it takes. If you're struggling badly, tell me. Murph, I haven't a clue what you're doing. Will you start again? No problem. We also have extra help with the likes of Adam Guido, and there's other people as well. Gregory says, so if you're on Xbox, you won't be able to talk to ATC on the flight, only for VATSim if you want to talk. Gregory, that's correct. But when we're doing our own events, we'll have aircraft flying on VATSim, but as a community, we'll always staff up our own Discord channels for ATC, just like what we're doing tonight, especially when we plan an event, because we want to include the Xbox pilots. You can get Discord on Xbox, you can jump in and be able to do the thing. You'll be grand. You'll be grand. We'll make sure you're there. Toto, sorry about that. I missed the beginning of the lesson, so I had to read the notes and fly at the same time. That's quite okay. Hey, Can Do is here. Good to see you. In this document, our procedure is the same for the US, except for Q&H. Basically, we use this document in the US controllers, or some requests are different. They're slightly different, right? So when it comes to voice procedures, there's going to be a couple of things. Some of the differences. First and foremost, the airspaces over here are different. In Ireland and most of Europe, our transition level is dictated by the airport. In the US, a transition level is 18,000 feet, flight level 180. Over here in Ireland, it tends to be 5,000 or 6,000, depending on the weather, and other airports will dictate what the transition level is. That's not a big to do. We also have what's called a startup request. We have to ask to start the engine of the aircraft. Now, you don't have to be on a stand for a commercial aircraft, but if you were commercial, it would be a push and start. But in some airports, not all of them, but some airports, you would have to request engine start. It depends on the airport. It'll tell you in the NOTAMs for that airport or in the AIP. So there's a little bit of head scratching. Not one airport is going to have the same procedures as the next. There's going to be differences across the board. But that's why you got to spend that little bit of extra time planning. But it's fun. You get to learn about the airports, right? There's a couple of differences with airspaces, in particular when it comes to class Alpha. But overall, they're very, very close. They're very, very close. There's a couple of subtle differences. So we will be doing... hey, like the program is here. Good to see you. We will be doing stuff with the US FAA procedures as well. Because one of my favorite places to fly is America. I love flying in America. I love checking it out. I love seeing the sights, right? So are we going to do a lesson on basic service calls? We will be, but I want that more aimed for, we're going to need radar for that, Maddie. So the plan would be, we would look for a basic service when we're on VATSim. So as the weeks progress, lads, as the weeks progress, part of the lesson is going to be looking at a handful of pilots who are going to be on VATSim, and the other handful of pilots who'll be using our Discord. And we'll be able to jump between the two. And you guys will be able to hear both sides of it. There's going to be limitations without radar on our side. And I don't want to leave the Xbox pilots behind. So we'll work around that. But we'll definitely do the information services. You can't get in trouble for it anyway. Just remember, the British Aviation Authority considers itself a failure anytime an aircraft leaves the ground. No, like the best thing to do, like if you wanted, Matty, if you fly from an area under a centre, you could request a basic service. They're not going to navigate you. Don't be afraid of it. It's a basic service. They are there to provide you with information of, it could be weather, it could be traffic, it could be anything, but they're there to provide you information. Does Ireland have procedural services, one that does not use radar? Not really, no.
Hello there.
The US equivalent to the FAA, we're not happy unless you're not happy. Exactly, right? Who be this? Real Nobody, many thanks for the follow. Welcome in, welcome in. Like, there's a lot to these, but take your time with them, lads. You know, the very first lesson we did here was a simple pick a call sign and do a radio check. That was lesson number 1. Start there. And like, okay, there's tons and tons and tons of information here. You don't need to know it off by heart. You don't need to be able to, you don't need to know it. You can refer to it if you're stuck and then you read it. Oh yeah, okay. It takes time to kind of for this stuff to bed in, yeah? So like I have an entire section here all about airspaces, you know, special airspaces, you know, restricted, prohibited, warning areas. There's pages upon pages. Don't worry about it. There's also tons of stuff here. Ground operations, delivery, tower, approach. Then we talk about the VATSim top-down model, how that actually works. Well, the center, if you have a center on, well, they are your approach, tower, ground, and clearance. They look after everything. If you only have tower on, well, they only cover tower, ground, and, you know, clearance delivery. They don't do anything else. It's a top-down approach. So if you jump on to VATSim and you're saying, there's no one in Shannon Tower, but I want to take off from Shannon, you talk to Shannon Center. Shannon Center, Equidia Tanga Mike, General Aviation Parking, Information Bravo, request VFR departure to Birr via Portumna and engine start. It's the very same thing. That's what you do, you know? Don't zoom in, Murph, because might scroll the page at my given time. Don't zoom in because Murph might scroll the page at any given time. Oh, you're zooming in trying to read. Sorry. This document, lads, it's there for you to read. It's there to help you. If you see mistakes in it, shout. When I say I've altered this, the information I have in this, that's why it's for free. It's from multiple sources throughout the internet, right? It's from the Irish Aviation Authority, it's from the FAA, it's from NATS, it's from VATSim, it's from IVAO, it's a little bit from Pilot Edge, my own experience, right? And also feedback I got from for some of the controllers. There's a lot to it, but don't let that scare you. Just pick a little section and say, right, it's the lessons you need to focus on. Wherever you see a lesson, so if you go to the contents, wherever you scroll down and you see a lesson, see it there? Here's lesson 1, keep scrolling down, lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4. They're the ones that need your focus. Stick to them, I think, and you're going to be absolutely all right. You know what I mean? But we'll take it one step at a time. Eventually, we're going to move this onto instrument flight rules. Then we're going to need to go to kind of bigger aircraft, twin engine stuff. Then we can look at VFR nighttime flying. Like, there's a whole load of stuff we can do here. Then we'll look at, of course, we have to look at the American stuff, and we might do stuff in other countries. Australia, for example. South Africa. There's subtle differences country to country. You know what I mean? But it's have fun with it. You can't go too wrong. If you're following the little book, which is now many pages, but if you follow the book, you can't go too wrong. Especially if you're operating within Irish airspace. You just can't go wrong, right? I did flights. I was streaming earlier on today. I did a flight from, what did I do? I did Dublin to Shannon in a 737 with ATC. I did a flight from Shannon to Dublin in a PC-12. I'd no ATC in Shannon. I did have it in Dublin. Then I did a flight from Dublin to Donegal under ATC, and that was an NDB approach for runway 3 in Donegal. That was a clanger. That was like, Jesus. So the more you're doing this, you'll start picking up the bit of, you'll get comfortable with it. And like, ATC will always throw you something, you'll be like, huh? Don't worry, it's fine. If you don't know, you don't know. Unable. Can I do this instead, please? And if you don't want to be on the network with your voice, well, drop them a text. Really sorry, man, can't do this. Can I do this instead? Pretty please? This is sure. I'll vector you, or sure, no problem. And if they can't, well then they'll tell you, no, disconnect. Okay. But don't think that they're getting tick with you. They shouldn't be. I must be all ATC'd out. No, I'm good, man. I'm good. Like it's a lot of fun, you know? Shannon Tower, unable approach, how selfie stick, request bailout. Yeah, like, I mean, you can have a bit of crack with it as well. And you can hear it, like, I mean, Adam, it was on earlier on. This is where we're getting the see ya. It's if you did that during a test, you know what I mean? What are you saying? You know, you don't say see ya. But that's where the bit of crack can filter in. And when people say with you, and also with you, as he spoke upon them to thee with his thy friend, you know what I mean? With you. You don't say with you. Some people do. It's not a big to do. Like, at the end of the day, if people are okay navigating and communicating, understanding and repeating all the important things, and they're having fun, let them off. You know what I mean? There is no amount of practice that will ever let me say see ya in the presence of my CFI. Well, you could. You say it in your head. Or traffic with you in the overhead. Yeah, do you know what I mean? But look at lads, a huge shout out and a massive thanks to Gibbo, to Scott, and to Epic Fool there tonight, lads. Really, really helpful. Matty, you did a great job as well. And everyone flying along. Like, we're saying this every week, but like, Jesus, the skills that you guys are now developing, the confidence in your voices, I'm noticing this all the time. It's like, it's gone from like where I was, the shaky, hello, oh, jeez, to no, you're on the ball. It's fast, it's paced, it's clear, it's concise. You guys are really doing well. And even anyone who is struggling, which you might hear one or two who struggle a little bit, you're still able to relay the information. You don't have to follow it word by word by word. Because let's face it, when you do this in VATSim, you mightn't do it word by word. You might get, like I do, completely in a hoop. But once you're able to get your message across in some which way, the controller's going to figure it out. They're going to help you along. You know what I mean? Hello, Shannon, tour. But you know what I mean? So you're doing really, really good. Yeah, Gibbo.
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Jay Winokur, you divil. Gibbo was the voice of reason, as he always is. As he always is. That smooth voice, though. You know what I mean? Come here, Gibbo. You know the way you slag me for having a boat voice? Hello. Does Gibbo have an ATC voice, lads? What do you think? Or do I have an ATC voice? I probably do. I think the best ATC voice out there has to be Fabio. He slows them right down. Fox, was it? Papatango, you know what I mean? He's nice and slow and relaxed. It's a posh Southside accent, yeah. I'm the voice of what? Snide. D4. Yeah. D4. Sticks of dynamite. We're only messing. Gibbo. And like, here's Gibbo as well. And to be fair, like, I'm going to sing his praises now. We will delete this or edit it out. But like, I don't think Gibbo did anything online prior to being with us either. Gibbo has the confidence now to jump into a friggin' frequency and control. That's amazing, isn't it? Hey, Awfully man, good to see you. Good, all is good. Papa Tango Tango. Yeah. Foxtrot. Yeah, that's the one. That's Fabio's one. But if you listen to Fabio when he's on ATC, he slows it right down. And there's a reason for that. Yes, it's very easy for us to understand him, but he's also dictating the pace in which he wants the information relayed to him. That's a sure sign of a real world pilot. They'll dictate the pace. So if I jumped on and say, Shannon Tower, November 235, Romeo Mike, information Bravo, request IFR to Dublin. Well, they'll come back fairly quick. If I drag the arse out of it, Shannon Tower, November 235, Romeo Mike, information Bravo, IFR to Dublin. It changes the pace completely. And even the controller's probably thinking, who's your man? You know what I mean? So try that a little bit. Foxtrot with us, good to see you. Just waiting on Gibbo to come out, the greatest horseplay of all time. No, he did brilliant, lads. He really did. But it's great. Information Foxtrot. I have information Foxtrot. Did someone say unicorn earlier on? Monitor unicorn. So the ATR won't do a single engine taxi on the grass. There you go. That's what it's all about. Unicorn, yeah. Monitor unicorn. It's like saying meow. Over to Unicom, or over to unicorn meow. Wait, what? Information Murphy. You nearly got me, Viper. You nearly did, but you didn't. Right, I'm going to leave it there, as this is my second stream of today. Guys, you've been an absolute ton of fun. Thanks so much for tuning in and following along with this. It's not, it's not the normal stuff we do, but I hope you're enjoying it. I hope there's a benefit here. And I'm really, if you're stuck with anything, or if you think we're moving too far ahead, shout. Let me know. Drop me a DM. We'll get other people involved to try and help you out. If there's anywhere that you're struggling with, don't struggle. And there's no such thing as a stupid question. There's never a stupid question, right? The only stupid question is the question not asked. There's no such thing as a dumb question or a stupid question, all right? So thank you all so very much. We're going to be back to you this Wednesday with the news and see if we can get our hands on new stuff or old stuff, or show some stuff off. And then this coming Friday, we're down to French Polynesia, and we're going to be flying in the C-160 Transall, doing a resupply mission. That should be a bit of crack. Mad airports out there, lads. Do you know what I mean? So there's lots of content and lots of stuff happening during the week. And sure, listen, we'll see how we get on. So who have we got on now? I think Conti's on there. Conti's doing a bit of X-Plane. Just want to have a look at Conti doing a bit of X-Plane. What's he doing in it? He's flying in he's in the 747 class. He's on Pilot Edge. Have a listen to Conti on Pilot Edge, because Pilot Edge, it's a different online network. It controls the west of the US, but it's on a different level. So we'll do a raid over to Conti, lads. Just I don't know. Say how are you? Give him a big AJH. I don't think Conti knows the AJHs yet. So give him a whole load of AJHs. And I'll be on Discord. Don't forget to join me on Discord. ! Discord will link you to it. And until then, until Wednesday, have a wonderful week. Be good.
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
And there you go, Rad Baron. Good man yourself. Thank you so much for watching. Be good. And we'll see you soon. Take care.